least 40 liters. They actually test that. They have to be sitting in the boat to dump 40 liters in. As you see, Jordan Poffenberger, bib 6, on the water. Those single-digit bibs mean they're a reigning world champion here defending their title. As Jordan spins it around, got a nice spin. He had a bit of a loop there earlier. Setting up on this side. They seem to be favoring this river left side or surfer's right side to get set up for their tricks. Pulling it around, throwing the McNasty around. Coming off a little off axis. We'll have to see what the judges say about that one. As he's setting back up, he's going to go for, I think he was trying to go for a loop move or a Space Godzilla as he washes out. He knows he doesn't have to rush back up because his time is almost up, and there's the buzzer. All right.
So good first ride for Jordan. He looks like he's fairly happy with that, and he'll be looking to improve on that for his second ride. So the way that this competition runs is there are 2 runs, and the 2 scores are added together to then get our athletes progressing to the final round.
Absolutely. Run 1 for Jordan Poffenberger comes up with 90 points. Pretty solid. Next up is Brian Miller. I competed against this guy in 2000 and 2001 in Sort, Spain. He's been at the game for a while. He's here competing with his son, Landon, who's actually in this heat with him as well, which is pretty amazing to see a father-son duo on the water. It's actually quite amazing, the legacy of the sport continuing right there as Brian's getting warmed up for his ride. We're in bib 154. Yeah, the Team America is cheering out there. Got a full crowd here this afternoon as the sun came out for us. Looks like we're waiting for Brian Miller to get the thumbs up from our head judge, Paul Shepard.
So there are 3 judges who will all be scoring individually. So if a trick's kind of borderline, maybe 2 out of 3 judges will give it, and it'll kind of average the score out a little bit.
That's right, as Brian's setting up. He's going for an entry move. I've seen him throw some pretty big kind of entry wingovers. And there it is, getting the stern right up over top of him as he's spinning it around. I've seen him throw some great cartwheels in here in training. Let's see what he's got for you now as he's dipping his bow. Maybe getting that up for the cartwheel. That's impressive right there, spinning it around. Oh, maybe trying to get some clean bonuses on those spins. Yeah. Brian Miller definitely been at it a long time. He announces the Green River Race in North Carolina. Very different. Oh, playing to the crowd a little bit. Oh, almost lost his paddle. Oh, flip it over. Maybe tried a bit of a blunt there by accident. Yeah, he's playing the crowd, getting them all riled up out there. Great ride from the sportsman there, Brian Miller.
It looks like he's absolutely loving it, and that's a big part of what this competition is about. It's about having fun, meeting up with your friends from across the world, and really just enjoying the sport that is freestyle kayaking.
Absolutely. I've had a few of my friends texting me from North America saying it sounds great and they're enjoying the live speed and also making a little bit of fun of our commentary in good nature, which is welcome.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah, we'll say, Johnny Danger, I'm calling you out on that one. He knows who he is. He's listening out there, guys. Great day to be on the water. Johnny's most true up on deck from France, wearing bib 164.
Yeah, so he's a very, very experienced competitor. He's been around the scene for the last few years. Vice World Champion in OC1 in 2019 in Sort. 3rd at the C1 European Championships in 2021. And he's a winner of C1 World Cups 2018. Very, very seasoned competitor, and we'll see him dropping into the hole now.
And there he is. He's on the feature. Let's see what he's got for us. Sets up on that left side. Going for a kind of a back blunt or initiation type move. Fortunately flushing off the feature as he works his way back up to the top of the eddy. I'm sure he's got a lot more for us. He still has 27 seconds on the clock as he drops into the feature. Sets up. Looks like he's going to go for a loop. And he does. Nice snappy loop. Pulling it right around. Maybe even getting a bit of air on that loop. Getting those extra bonuses for air. He also got it for linking into other moves as he's trying to get some cartwheels set up there. Oh, flipping over there in the downstream. 3, 2, 1, and that'll be it for Johnny's first ride. These guys are going to get 2 rides. Added together, both will count.
Yeah, it's just worth remembering how difficult it is to paddle these boats. They're not easy, are they?
Definitely it is not. I've tried it a few times. It's not exactly what I want to do, but I commend these guys for doing it, and it's impressive to watch when some of these guys do it. You know, the Garburator wave on the Ottawa, Andy Hill, Canadian, won the event in a boat that he had designed specifically for Garburator as an OC1, and it was impressive what he did in a canoe out there on that wave. And here we're seeing loops. We just saw some cartwheels. That's amazing to see that these guys are doing that in an open boat.
Yeah, they'll also be home built as well, right?
Some of them, yeah.
It's not like many manufacturers make these boats. Quite often the competitors themselves will have crafted their own boat and they're bringing it out here to kind of compete.
Although the next boat we have up here is a Blackfly Designs canoe, which is one of the only freestyle canoe designs that is actually manufactured. Pretty cool to see them.
So this is Owen Kelly dropping into the hole for Team Ireland.
Bib 185, Owen Kelly on with a nice wing over to get things started. Oh, catching a bit of an edge, bobbling out of the hole. Oh, he's struggling a bit with this roll, but he's going to make his way back into the eddy. Some of these guys might even take a quick stop to try and dump a bit of the water out of their boats. As we were saying earlier, that they have to do a test for the ICF, and at least 40 liters has to fit into the boat. So let's see what Owen Kelly has for us here. As he gets set up over on that preferred surfer's right side, dropping down for a loop, throws it over. A little off axis. We'll see what the judges have to say about it, but definitely giving it a solid try. He knows that he'll be back for one more ride.
Yeah, Owen competed in the under-23 European Raft Racing Championship, so he's very used to kind of paddling with a single blade, which is another difference to kind of one of the main competitions, which is the K1 event where you've got a double-bladed paddle. It kind of changes the way you do tricks a little bit because you have less support. It's not so easy. It's a little bit more technical, and it's one of the things that gives this particular category some more of its flavor. Absolutely.
And next up we have the young American who's paddling with his father in the same heat, Landon Miller, both from North Carolina area. I remember watching them race the Green Race last fall on the Green Race live feed. His dad was one of the commentators there. Is getting set up and ready to go. We're also waiting for some scores to come up here.
Yeah, I think there'll probably be a little bit of discussion in the judges' tent about a couple of the tricks as they try and figure out kind of what to award the run. Sometimes there's a little bit of debate after the run, particularly for borderline tricks where it's not so clear. The judges will discuss a little bit and kind of try and figure out what's the fair score for each competitor's ride.
Absolutely, and we've got Paul Shepard as our head judge this year, so we know things are going to be accurate in the end. As Landon Miller, bib 188, is on the feature right away, going for a big McNasty. Wow, he might, that was definitely some air there, maybe even a huge bonus as he's trying for it the other way. Moves along over on the feature, gets set up, dropping in for a loop. Wow, this is a pretty amazing ride he's got going here in his OC1. Going for some cartwheels, nice and vertical, getting solid 2 ends, trying for a split wheel. Oh. He's a tall, lanky guy. He's also really strong. So you can see him muscling this boat around. It's pretty impressive to watch. I believe we're going to see him in the C1 category, as well as he's got 1 second right at the buzzer trying to initiate something. Wow, that was an amazing OC1 ride from Landon Miller.
Yeah, the crowd absolutely loving it, and a big smile on the face from Landon. Really, really solid ride, and I mean he came 6th in 2019 at Sort, so he'll be wanting the podium this year. Coming in at 400 points, an incredible score, particularly given the difficulty of these boats.
Absolutely, that's one of the higher scores I think I've ever seen in an OC1 ride at a World Championships. Great to see him progressing the sport. He's huffing and puffing there. I think that was a lot of work. All right, looks like we're moving. Oh, we still have one more paddler, our 6th paddler here in this heat. a lot of heats. Normally we only have 5, but there was 11 paddlers here, so we have 2 heats, 1 of 6, 1 of 5. Chris Noble from Great Britain is up next, bib number 203.
Yeah, long time competitor. Competed at the Switzerland Worlds in 2009 all the way back. So he's experienced. He knows how this game works, and he knows how to paddle.
There it is, nice wing over. He got his ride started. I had dinner with Chris the other night out at one of the local pubs, enjoying a little bit of Nottingham's flavor here in town. Also got to go to the old Trip to Jerusalem pub last evening with a few people. So trying to enjoy a bit of Nottingham as Chris drops back into the feature. Oh, missing it. He's got 20 seconds here. Let's see if he's got enough time to make it back up to the feature to get a few more points on the board. 10 seconds left. I think he's just going to make it back to the hole in time for the buzzer. And there it is. Let's see if Chris has anything for us in the crowd. He's going to try and do a loop. There it is. As he rolls it up. Chris having a great time out there. Big smile on his face. Getting 26.67 points on the board.
Good run, and it's good to see that, you know, people keep on coming back to these events. You know, Chris has been around for I mean, he first competed at the World Championships in 2009, I believe, and it's just lovely to kind of see the same faces come back to these events, and it builds a really nice kind of international community around kayaking, and I think that's what this event is particularly about. It's about bringing people together and sharing the ethos of freestyle kayaking and just having a good time, really.
You're right. You couldn't say it any better than that. It is all about the community. And next up, we've got Jordan Poffenberger wearing that single-digit bib, showing off that he is a reigning world champion, and he's about to show you why with a nice, solid McNasty as he pulls it around. Sets back up on the corner. Let's see what he's got for us now. Going to do a spin. Looks like he's cleaning it up, not using his paddle blade for one of the 180-degree rotations of that, going for a cartwheel. Back it up. He's going to spin in the other direction, going for a loop, pulls it around. We'll see what the judges have to say. He was a little off axis on that landing on the loop. Oh, catching a bit of an edge and bobbling there. He's only got 5 seconds left, so won't make it back up though. A little fist pump. I think he's happy with that ride.
Yeah, I think he is, and the crowd appreciate it too. We've got loads of people out today, friends, family, locals from Nottingham, and also a lot of schools here kind of coming to try kayaking for the first time. We have a come and try kayaking session event for all the schools to take part in, and it's a really great way to introduce people to the sport. And it's great to kind of have the athletes supporting that and really hoping to bring forward the next generation of kayakers.
Absolutely. I've been pretty impressed with the number of people on the water taking part in the other events going on. We've had the Young Guns Freestyle event the last couple of days just downstream here, which is widely attended. I couldn't believe how many people were here for it, as we see Dad, aka Brian Miller, from the United States, warming up just above us. He looks like he's pretty much ready to go, and we'll see what he's got.
Just waiting for the thumbs up from the judges, and then he'll get started with his run.
All right, Brian Miller. We were just looking for his bio here too on the live feed as the guys in the announcing were giving him heck for not having a bio up. But I know Brian, I bet he's been paddling for a long time. I paddled with him in 01 in Spain. I saw him also at 2019 in Spain. And here he is, bib. Oh, throwing a nice wing over. Catching a little bit of an edge, bobbling a little bit as he spins it around. Got some beautiful spins. Yeah, I think he's been trying some cartwheels. Let's see if he sets those up next. There it is, trying to get those vertical ends in the cartwheel. Let's see if he, and then I think he tries to go the other way as his routine. You only get to score moves once, so he's thrown out, cleans the cartwheel. That's what he was looking for. His boat wasn't super vertical, so they might give him clean spin for that. That's more vertical. And there's a flurry of cartwheels. He's trying to pull his way back up. Yeah, played it to the crowd.
He's absolutely loving it. And
having
the crowd
a great
do too.
time. Trying to please the crowd. They're getting riled up over there. There's definitely a lot of people here at the Holmes Pier Point Country Park National Water Sports Center for today's event.
And this is day number 1 as well. We have 6 days more of competition, and it will get fiercer and fiercer as we go.
Absolutely. As we move into quarterfinals, semifinals, and then our finals, the action definitely ramps up, although sometimes the athletes start to get a little tired. It can be a long week if you make it all the way to the finals. You definitely see who the athletes are by the end of the week.
And also, like a lot of these athletes, this won't be the only class they're competing in. They'll also be competing in K1, C1, squirt.
Johnny's Mostru from France now on the feature. Looks like he does C1 conversions and McNasty's. Oh, flushes off the feature. But he's back into the eddy pretty quick. He still has 30 seconds on the clock, so he'll make his way back up to the top. As he re-enters the hole here. Twin waves, as they're calling it, trying for a loop, not quite pulling it around with an unfortunate flush off the back. 10 seconds left. He's still charging. I don't think he has enough time to make it to the top, but let's see what he's got for us. 3, 2, 1. Oh, a little bit of a flip in the eddy. Uh-oh, having a struggle. We might see our first swimmer here. Nope, I am wrong, thankfully.
So you're Vice World Champion in OC1 2019 in sort, so hopefully we see him come back through to the next round, and we can hopefully see him reclaim his title of Vice World Champion, or maybe even top it and become World Champion. We'll have to see.
I'm sure that's top step is where he would like to be.
Yes.
But there is definitely some tough competitors in this first heat. As we move down to the Irishman, Owen Kelly of Ireland, on deck. We saw him
So Owen's a local here at Nottingham. It's his home crowd. He lives here. This is where he trains. Do you know what it's like competing for a home crowd? Because it's something that I've never done before, but
I have done on a few occasions. And
what's it like?
There's definitely a little bit of extra pressure, but that energy can also lift you up, which is pretty cool. As we see Mr. Kelly ramping up the crowd, Team Ireland on shore there. We're seeing a lot of green as he enters the top of the arena here, just above the twin wave. Check things out. He's got a big smile on his face. Looks like he's pretty much ready to go. Yeah. All right. There it is. Big wing over right off the start as he enters the feature. Those entry moves score a lot of points. It looks like he's going for a loop. Pulls it over. He's still in the feature. Little off axis on that move. They're looking to be 20 degrees from directly upstream of the feature. This feature does have a little bit of an angle to it, so the judges are looking for the athletes to be landing 20 degrees to the upstream of the feature. Oh, he's going to go for a back loop. Loop, there it is. Oh, flush it off the hole. Getting lots of points on there. Big fist pump. I think he's happy with that ride. The local boy here from Ireland, but lives here in Nottingham. Pretty happy with what he's seeing.
Yeah, so that'll be his second ride. Both rides are added together for the competitors today, and that score is what will take them through to the next round. So it's a lot about consistency, right? There's a bit of a playoff between how much risk you take in your run, what do you think you need to get through. Yeah, and that's kind of a big part of what these competitors are weighing up when they start to construct their rides is actually what's the format of the competition, how are we going to respond to it, and kind of making those tactical decisions.
Yeah, for sure, Alex. You're right. It's been a lot of fun watching all these guys paddle today. Landon Miller, I believe, is on deck, getting ready. He's wearing bib 188 from the United States of America. So far, he's had probably the most solid rides out there, but there's some stiff competition here in this OC1 category this year. So Landon's getting himself all strapped in, ready to go. These guys are on their knees. Their boats have airbags in. You can see he's trying to get a little bit of extra air in there so he gets more pop up out of the wave. You can see it bulging out a little bit there. Yeah, Paul Shep, head judge, giving the thumbs up as Landon slides into the feature right away, going for a McNasty. Wow, getting some great pop right up out of the water. Looks like he's going to go for the offside McNasty, catching a bit of an edge and bobbling, but that's okay. He's still in the feature and has lots more to show us. And there goes the offside McNasty. Not quite pulling it around, but that's okay. He's still got 22 seconds on the clock as he makes his way to the top of the eddy. Landon dropping back in. Oh, bobbling a little bit on the edge. He's going to say, well, we'll see. We'll save that for the quarterfinals or semifinals or maybe the finals. I have a feeling we'll see him in all of those rounds the way he's paddling out there today.
Yeah, no doubt. With that first round score of 400, first run score, sorry, of 400. Now adding in the second run score of 160, he'll be in first place after the first heat of the open canoe class.
Absolutely. Next up is Chris Noble of Great Britain, our last competitor in this heat, sporting bib 203.
Yeah, so Chris Noble, he's a very experienced competitor. I think we mentioned it previously. He's got lots of competition experience. He knows how to get himself in the right space, and he's been around the competition scene for so long now. He's a familiar face to us all.
Yeah, absolutely. As he's getting ready up there at the top.
It's also worth mentioning that, you know, for the most part, these athletes, they're not professional. This is kind of their hobby, what they do alongside having a full-time job. So Chris himself, he's you know, he has a professional job. This is something that he slots into the side, and it's incredible to see the standard that these athletes get to and the dedication that they have to put inside, alongside doing other things as well.
Absolutely. I've been doing these competitions for a long time, since the late 90s, and always had to work and have a job along the way. Some of it had been for paddle sports companies. As Chris drops into the feature. Oh, nice swing over, but unfortunately catching a bit of a flush. You can see he's a pretty strong paddler, reaching right around, pulling himself back towards the eddy as he makes his way to the top of the eddy. Yeah, he's one of the older competitors in our event this week as he makes his way back onto twin waves. Trying to make his way over to the surface right side to set up. Going to try that loop again. Flopping a bit over. Still retaining the feature. He's going to probably try and set something like that up again. Comes over to the edge. Oh, pitch away. Edge catch, and that'll be it for him today.
Looking very happy with that. I mean, it must be an experience. He said in his bio that this is one of his favorite places to paddle, and it must be so special to compete here with a home crowd. You know, having all of the local community here out to support you, cheer you on, must be an incredible experience, and he seems to be having big smiles.
Absolutely.
I think that will round out our first heat of the open canoe. We've got one more heat, and then that will set our final ranking for the first round, the preliminary round of the open canoe surface category.
That's right, Alex. Next up in our next heat, first up will be Connor Proud of Great Britain. Adria Bosch of Spain. Philip Joseph of Germany. Zachary Zwannenberg of Canada. Rimar Stoffenberger of Germany. We'll round off our 5 guys in the next round of the OC1.
I think we should just take a quick moment to thank all of the people that are involved with putting this event on. There is a massive workforce team here. You'll see them in their bright orange Jaffa sponsored uniforms all around the site today, and they've all given up their time for free to be here and to make this event happen, and without them it wouldn't be possible. We also have to thank our sponsors, Direct Business Solutions, the International Canoe Federation, British Canoeing, Jill, Aquapack, ES Works, Nottinghamshire County Council, Erdinger Beer. All of these supporters have made this competition happen today, and there's been a phenomenal amount of work behind the scenes, particularly from the host organising committee, Jacko Jackson organising the entire event. And this has kind of been his baby since 2016.
Absolutely. This week we've been dealing with a lot of amazing people on the volunteer committee. Gemma Wiggs stands out for me every time I have a question. She's been able to answer it quickly, efficiently, and make things happen. She was running around when we were having some live feed issues earlier. All I know is the problem is solved, so somebody did it right, because we're back. I think we're back on right now.
Makes our job
Looks
easy.
like we are. We got Noria Fontaine Masso over there taking photos.
Yeah,
There's our camera guys walking around, keeping things going. You can see some of the boaters getting ready up there under the Red Bull Arch. Team Germany, by the looks of their uniforms. They all have these great uniforms and skirts and tops, all in the German flag colors. Pretty cool to see. I'm going to have to work on that for Team Canada.
Yeah, likewise for Team GB.
I don't know, you guys got some pretty good uniforms. So do the Irish. All the teams look great out there in all their colors, team spirit. I'm seeing a lot of Irish flags, Canadian flags, British flags, German flags. They're all flying up here. It's pretty cool. The crowd is filling in. I know that there's a few crowd favorites in our next heat, so it's going to get pretty exciting here once our heat gets started on the water.
Yeah, I think we had some rain showers earlier in the day, and now that it started to clear up, we've had a few sunny spells. In fact, I can just see the sun starting to come out now. It seems like the crowd are out in full force and here to support their athletes, friends, family, or just they might be down here for the day.
I was happy to have remembered my brand new rain jacket this morning. that British weather. I spent some time here when I was younger, and it rained or was freezing cold the whole time, and we didn't see the sun for weeks. So I'm happy that we've had some sun. It was quite hot when we arrived. Now the temperature's a little bit more reasonable, and I'm glad that the rain from earlier today seems to have moved on as we get ready for our second heat of the men's OC1 open canoe category. These guys are in what's considered an open canoe. They're kneeling. They've got airbags in the boats, and they have to have at least 40 liters of water able to be in the boat with them. So the ICF officials actually get you in your boat, and they take a pail and dump cold water on your lap, and they have to be able to put 40 liters in. Some sort of weird torture, I'm not sure, but...
yeah, I think that would throw me off a little bit. I'd be sat there and I'd be like, what's happening to me? But no, these guys are used to it. They've got ready, and I think for some people, they almost see it as part of their routine. They're ready to compete. They get a bit of cold water dumped on them, and they're ready to go. Yeah,
earlier in the week, the athletes were actually looking around for the ICF officials to get the boat check out of the way, to make sure everything was good, so that if they had to make any changes, they had lots of time to do it.
Yeah, and that water weighs a lot, right? 40 liters, 40 kilograms.
I know, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean, considering that a freestyle kayak is usually, 10 kilograms max.
As you can see, our scores and our leaderboard up there so far. You can see who's qualified to move on.
Yeah, so Landon Miller with a massive score of 560, which I don't think I've ever seen an OC1 score that high.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think maybe on Garburator we had a few in 2015 that were up there, but
Yeah.
Not exactly sure if it was quite that high.
So it looks like we're going to be starting shortly with heat number 2, with Connor Proud starting from Great Britain. He's got a home crowd today. From Newcastle upon Tyne, and he's currently a student.
Looks like Connor's on the wave, doing a wing over as he enters. I don't recognize that boat design, but it looks like it's working fairly well out there. As he spins around on that shoulder, trying to clean it up, and there it is. He gets a nice clean spin, trying to get some of those bonuses on the board. There he is, spins it around again. The move only counts once in each direction as he tries to spin going the other way, catches a bit of an edge, rolls back up. He's going to try and charge up the eddy. In the background, as we see Connor trying to make his way up the eddy, I can see the father-son OC1 team of Landon and Brian congratulating each other in the background there. Pretty amazing performance there as Connor heads down the eddy. He'll be back up in just a few minutes. 50 points on the board for Great Britain's Connor.
So one of Landon's kind of main goals was he said to not swim at World Championships. I don't think that counts as a swim, so he's doing well so far on that front.
There you go. I think it's every paddler's goal here is not to have an out-of-boat experience.
I think so, but I think C1 Open Canoe is definitely the most challenging to achieve that in, right?
It definitely adds an element of chance for sure.
Here we go.
All right. Adria Bosch from Spain, dropping into the twin wave as he pulls over to the shoulder, sets up. Nice little blast, going to a back blast. Fortunately, blasts don't, but he might score, but he may have pulled a shove it around there. Yeah, definitely getting to shove it in as he rolls up on the back of the feature. Oh, I think he's going to spin his boat around. I think he may have made this boat himself. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like almost like a trash bin is the top part of it. But it's working really well for him, so all the power to him. Oh, unfortunately, catching a little bit of a flush. You can tell he's a bit frustrated. And he's going to save his energy for his second ride.
Yeah, so just to kind of reiterate how the competition's working, we have each competitor gets 2 rides, the 2 scores get added together, and then that's what will carry you through to the next round. Fortunately for Adria, he's got another chance, and hopefully he can build on his first score to reach the top few that managed to get through to the next round. Next, we have Philip Joseph from Germany. He was 3rd in OC1 in Sort Spain 2019, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to up his rankings this time. So we'll see how he does. It's looking like he's opting to start from the bottom eddy, which is an option that all the competitors have. It's just another way to start it. You might not want to do an entry move. It's risky, right? You can do an entry move, you can flush, and then you have to kind of pay the price and paddle back up, lose some of your time in the hole.
Absolutely. So Philip Joseph is on deck for his first ride. I remember seeing this young guy in Spain a few years ago. He definitely can throw down some big moves. He's getting a little bit of a top up on his airbags. There, they splash a little bit of water on him to cool him off and then add a little bit more air so they get a bit more buoyancy when he gets into the feature. Looks like he's pretty much ready to go. He's going to try and get the water out of his boat, maybe do a little push up here on shore. So you can see the scenery, the Red Bull truck in the background there, and there's us in the announcing booth doing the push up.
By trade, Philip's an electrician, so that's his day job again. Like, you know, lots of these athletes, they have other lives. They don't just kayak all day, and it's again really just impressive to see how how talented they get at this sport, and it's not the main thing they do.
Absolutely, as he drops into the feature right there. Moving over to this tricky surfer's right side, throwing a big McNasty. Philip looking good after a good start, going for a loop, not quite pulling around. Maybe a Space Godzilla there.
They're just moving to this right-hand side of the hole now, which seems to be where most of the competitors are kind of setting up for tricks. Left-hand side's a little bit more difficult, but he's now just kind of moving back into the main retentive area of the hole, going for a back loop, getting very close to it, just nearly managing to retain it, but not quite. He's got 4 seconds left. I think he's going to call it there. Save some energy.
Absolutely, saving a bit of energy for his next ride, which brings us up to the Canadian paddler in OC1, Zach Zwannenberg. Zach's been at this game in C1, OC1, and K1. He made the team in all 3, but decided not to do the K1 side because he wanted to focus on the C1 and OC1 categories. He's been doing really well here. I love the Canadian colored OC1.
Yeah, and he's got pedigree in C1 as well. He was 3rd in the men's C1 competition at the 2015 Freestyle World Championships. So he knows what he's doing, and we'll have to see what he manages to put down as a first ride.
Absolutely, he has potential to be up on that podium. He was in 2015 at the Ottawa River on the Garburator wave, which was an amazing showcase of freestyle wave paddling. Today we're working in a hole style feature, so the moves are a little bit differently and a little different style of paddling. So let's see what Zach has for us now as he starts to make his way down. He's been doing entry moves. As we get our delivery service of tea, Zach is dropping into the feature. He's going to start from the eddy on the shoulder here, right down. He's going to drop into that spot. Beautiful loop. Definitely showing that to the judges straight over. Definitely no guessing as to whether or not he was the right angles on the landing on that one. He's doing some shove-its and some spins. He knows it's a little flushy over there on surfer's left, so he's backing it up a little bit. Oh, doing a little bit of, oh, not quite getting that back loop attempt in, and unfortunately flushing off the wave. Bib 84, Zach Zwannenberg. I think you will see him back for his second ride. He's too deep down in the eddy to make it back up for any more time. And there's the buzzer, which brings us to our last competitor here in the heat before we move to back to the top of the order. Rimar Stoffenberger.
Yeah,
Stoffenberg from Germany.
I believe this is his first World Championships, competing in the OC1 class. And always, it's a little bit different coming here compared to like your regional competitions and even selections, because there's more crowd, there's a little bit more pressure, and it's all a bit more serious.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure we'll see an awesome ride from him.
It looks getting set up there as we wait for, I don't believe we've seen a score yet for Zach Zwannenberg's ride. He looks kind of happy of it there as he's talking to his competitor there from Germany.
Yeah, and it takes time, the judges time to kind of finalize the score. Sometimes they talk a little bit about the ride and if there's some, if there's any debate over the tricks, whether they meet their criteria. But it looks like he's coming with a good score of 95 points, which is a solid start, and then he'll be looking to improve on it on his second run. And of course, those two scores will be added together, and that's what will take them through to the next round.
That's right, Alex. We're waiting for the final competitor here in the heat order before we move to the top of the order again. This is Heat 2, men's OC1 here at the 2022 ICF Freestyle World Championships. Dropping in with a nice wing over, pulls it around, where Rimar's setting up on the shoulder, paddling that Big Dog Canoe. Sets up the beautiful German team kit on. I believe it's Sandy Line that makes all that gear up for them. Looks pretty sharp out here on the water as he drops in, rolling it back up, making his way into the eddy.
It takes a lot of energy to get these boats back up to the top. And quite often by the time you're back in the hole, you're kind of a little bit exhausted from trying to get back in your time slot for the run. Unfortunately, he's not quite made it back in time on this attempt, but he's got another run, and I'm sure he'll want to improve on that score.
He will be back up in just a few minutes, but we're moving back to the top of our order with Connor Proud of Great Britain on deck. I can see him up, getting ready up near the top of our arena here in Nottingham, England. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day here. And we're ready for some whitewater action. Following the OC1s, we're going to have the junior women's preliminary rounds going. We'll be rounding out our day before the action heats up again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so Connor first found kayaking at kind of a local canoe club, and that's quite often how so many people get into the sport. There are these little clubs all across the UK, all across the world, and that's the best place to kind of start, learn, get into the sport, and meet some people who can take you out, and you know, eventually you can come and compete at a competition like this. That's how we met and got introduced into freestyle, was at one of these little local clubs. So I'm sure they'll all be rooting him on right now.
Nice wing over for Connor Proud as he enters the feature, working over to the river right side, getting set up nice and high, nice clean spin, holding his paddle nice and high, going for a super clean spin, catching a bit of an edge, but pulling it back into the feature, getting a little bit of a vertical end there. He's going to set back up. What's he got in store for us here? Maybe I think he was trying to do a cartwheel, got a little bit too far on that stern end, because he's got 15 seconds left to go as he works his way towards the top of the eddy. Connor Proud from Great Britain back on the twin wave feature here in Nottingham.
Crowd really seemed to appreciate his performance. Again, it's his first World Championships. He looks to be fairly happy with that. It's always an experience, you know, your first time competing in front of such a large crowd. It's not an easy thing, and I have a lot of respect for all these athletes. You know, going out and showing their stuff in front of everybody.
That's right. And next up, we have Adria Bosch Roca of Spain. And that Robson boat, I think he fixed it up there. Changed it a little bit with that blue part that's on top there to make it an OC1.
It looks like a bit of homemade welding.
It does, but you know what? It seems to work really well for him as he slides onto the feature here in Nottingham, England. You can see using his hand to pull his boat around a little bit there, spinning it around backwards, going for those shove-its. I think maybe he was trying to set up for a bit of a McNasty there. Backing it around, catching it. Oh! He definitely looks like he's trying to drive that bow down to pull up and maybe get a McNasty. Definitely using most of his time here on the feature. Now trying to set up again. He's got 10 seconds left. As you hear the buzzer go in the background, 10 seconds. And now we're at 3, 2, 1. He definitely wants that McNasty. Trying it again just before the buzzer. Definitely a very nice ride from the Spaniard.
Looking pretty happy with that ride. Yeah, and it's a culmination of a lot of training. You know, these guys will have been selected 9 months ago, between like 6 months, 9 months ago, and they will have been training hard for this event. It takes a lot to compete at a World Championships. They'll spend most of their spare weekends, you know, down at their local respective features, getting ready, preparing, and just getting in the best possible shape they can be. It's a long ordeal to get ready, right?
You are right. I've been there. I've done a few of those. A lot of training happens. Each of these nations select a team that they're going to send to the World Championships. There's criteria that the ICF lays out for those team selections. Each class has a number of people in it. Men's kayak has 5. Women's kayak also has 5. And then there's now the C1 category in men's and women, both 3. At 3 in the OC1, 3 in each squirt. And then in the juniors as well, in men's and women's.
So
I think he's doing his push-up warm-up here. So it's Philipp Joseph of Germany. Doing some push-ups there. As he drops into the feature here. Spin it around, looking for that McNasty, and pulls it around.
Beautiful.
Maybe even getting some bonuses on there. Maybe a huge, but it was definitely up there. Oh, nice big loop as well. Sets up nice and high. Spinning it around. There we go, backing it up. Oh, big back loop as he comes around.
Just setting up now, looking for his next trick. That left-hand side and just flushing on the buzzer. Going for a little bit of a roll. So we'll add both of Josef's scores up, and that will essentially determine whether he makes it through to the next round. Really solid. But of course, any calls that we make don't mean anything because it's the judges who make the decisions here.
In the end, yes, it is the judges. We are not the judges. We're just the guys trying to call what we see out in front of us here. The judges, or the international technical officers, as they are officially called from the ICF, are the ones that have the end call on whether or not those moves are scoring. You see a lot of moves, and sometimes they're just not coming around at the right angles. They're not getting enough rotation in some of those moves. So unfortunately, they don't score on the scoreboard, but they're also pretty cool to watch, even if they don't fully get them. And they're out there having fun. The sun's out. Although I haven't seen anybody sun's out, guns out yet. It's not that warm.
No, we are in Nottingham after all.
You are correct there. Zachary Zwannenberg pointing down at the eddy lower on here, letting the judges know that that's where he's going to start his ride as he drops into the feature right away, throwing a loop. Nice and snappy loop there. He's going to set up on that cross bow stroke, trying to spin it around, and there it is. So he scored himself a loop and a spin so far as he backs it up into the feature. Sets up, he's back over into that corner there. Looks like he's, maybe going to drop his nose again for one of the loop style tricks. He wants that back loop, pulls it around. Unfortunately, catching a bit of an edge and bobbling off the back of the hole. He has 10 seconds left, and he knows he doesn't have enough time to make it back up. So that'll be it for Zach's second ride. He'll be putting some more points on the board again. Pretty solid. Hopefully he moves himself on to the next round. There's Canadian team coach Caleb Grady making his way down to talk to Zach after his ride. It's nice to see some coaches out here helping the athletes, giving them some tips, some pointers, maybe calming them down a little bit and getting them ready. Zach looks happy with it. Big high five for the coach.
Yeah, he looks happy. He looks like he's having a great time. And again, that's what this Freestyle World Championships is about. It's about enjoying it. And we have such a high level of competition here, but at the end of the day, it's just about being on the water and having fun. So coming in with a score of 195 points, which is solid. We'll see if it takes him through to the next round.
All right.
First we got
Next up, our last competitor here in the OC1s today, Rimar Stoffenberger of Germany. Oh, I love the German flags are flying. The German crowd is cheering away, getting ready to go here. And the big dog open canoe dropping in to the wave, trying for a bit of a wing over. Not quite getting his tail up into the air. We'll have to see what the judges will say about that one once the scores start coming up on the board.
Just surfing around, trying to find his next trick.
There it is. Tried to go for that loop, but not quite getting his nose down as he moves over to the shoulder to spin around, get set up, maybe a shove it. Nope, he wants that McNasty, trying to pull it around, not quite getting the pop that you need to get the boat up and out of the water for the McNasty, but let's see what he's got here. He's going to try it in the other direction and not quite getting it. 2 seconds left, and that'll be it for our men's OC1 competition today here in the preliminary rounds of the ICF World Championships here in Nottingham, England. Myself and Alex are going to sign off now for a little while. We're going to have some other announcers coming on here in just a few minutes to bring you the action of the junior women's preliminary kayak rounds. All right, we'll see you guys again soon. Have a great day.
First place is Landon Miller, followed by Germany, Philip Joseph. Poffenberger bringing the third spot. Zachary Zwannenberg fourth with Brian Miller in fifth. All the official results will be up on the website later. Please do go check those out. They're going to get this sorted up. They're going to get judges changed over, and we will move right into women's junior. I'm going to take some. I believe the first is scheduled for 2:55.
You put the results. You put the results list. Yeah. Do you want something to the result list?
Ladies and gentlemen, and for Adam Rodon, I'm Hojo. Thank you for watching Open Canoe. Thank you. It was lovely. Enjoy the sun. Look at sun, otherwise known as you are pale, Irish. Sorry, Irish. I gotta pull you out though, Irish. Langdon's back to popular. There we go.
Mauri, ahora da planes de relleno. Son 10 minutos que hay que estar de streaming y los suyos que demos relleno, ¿vale? Estás pinchado, ten cuidado.
Now guys, the next round is K1 Women's Junior. That is at 2:55. Got a nice bit of a break here, go get some food. Head over to the athlete lounge if you're an athlete. Get yourself some free oranges from our sponsor, Jaffa.
We're going to put results. You put it
For those of you tuning in on the live stream, we'll be back in about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes with junior women's surface kayak class.
son 10 minutos, menos. Son 5 o 6. No, as soon as yeah, you take out the graphic, more or less you read it, and you take out, yeah. And we can, if it's not half hour or something, I can take the camera and make something, but I want to smoke, so.
Holly Ogilvie. Holly Ogilvie of Ireland. Holly, you are up in this next heat. We'd like to see you somewhere in a boat nearby boat check. You need to go to boat check. Holly Ogilvie, we need you up at the Red Bull Arch pronto, ASAP. I see some running Irish. Maybe they're going to help you out. We're going to get started here in about 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, in the Junior Women's Kayak Division. Please stand by. minutes away now from the first heat of junior K1 women. Coming up in this heat, we've got Holly Ogilvie from Ireland.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the live feed, we are getting ready for junior women's kayak. I am joined here by Anna Bruno. I am Hojo.
Hey Hojo, how's it going today? Good to be here.
Excellent. Can you hear me okay, Anna?
I can hear you all right. Can you hear me?
Oh, you were loud and clear. Just doing a little check. We're getting ready to run up the women's juniors first heat. We have approximately 4 heats of junior women this round.
That's right. That's almost 20 junior women athletes. So this is our preliminary round. For these young women, 2 rides today, 45 seconds each. Both of those rides count, and they are trying to make it into the top 10 to see which of these women will go on to compete in the semifinal later this week. This has been a big first day here in Nottingham at the HPP Whitewater Course. We started off the morning with the squirt boating preliminary rounds, men's and women's, followed by the women's OC1, a historic addition to the World Championship, and then crowd favorite OC1, or the open canoes, and now I believe this is our final event of the day, day 1 here, the junior women's preliminary round.
Yeah, the 2022 ICF Freestyle World Championships have got off to a bang, and we are definitely looking forward to seeing these junior women. This is, of course, the future of our sport. This is where we really need to cultivate and hone these paddlers' skills, because these become the seniors, these become the coaches. This is how the sport goes on, and these junior women are going to be the first round of those that we see fostering this sport. And I see someone coming from upstream right now, Anna.
Fantastic. So that could be our first competitor here of the junior women. And that is going to be Holly Ogilvie from Ireland. So Holly looking to drop in from the feature, starting things off with an entry move. Coming in from upstream, starting to gain points right away as she enters the hole, working her way over to that surfer's right corner, looking to set up and plug for probably one of those aerial maneuvers like that loop. There it is, nicely done. Holly Ogilvie from Ireland.
Yeah, Holly likes to do field hockey, which is very common of youth sports here, as she spins around to the right. This is her first World Championship competitions. She's looking for that Space Godzilla off to the right. As much of these paddlers, a lot of this is their first time doing Worlds.
That's right. You know, as a junior, you only get 3 years in which you're eligible for junior competition. Holly looking to spin it around the other direction. So every paddler you see will be between the ages of 15 and 18. So they must have turned 15. Oh, on the buzzer, she goes to set up for a McNasty, looking for those higher scoring point tricks. What a great first ride for Holly.
Yeah, you know, she really looked like she's been practicing. She had a plan. This is one of the paddlers that definitely came in. I'm going to execute and really work toward that plan, which is wonderful to see. That's some great athleticism.
I really have to give a big shout out to the Irish team. They've got a strong upcoming squad of juniors. You'll see David McClure in the men's later this week. You'll see Aoife Hanrahan also in the women's competing later this week. And they do a lot of things with in Galway there with a junior kayak club. And it's just fantastic to see the level of freestyle that's come up. But 4 more paddlers to go in this first heat of the junior women's. Next up is Naya out of Germany, followed by Emma Villa. Oh gosh, this is the worst part of this job. Villa Domat from Spain. Asia Lopez Arenas from Spain, and Julie Hewitt from France. So international heats here.
Yeah, this is wonderful. You know, there's a requirement that you can't even have a competition without so many national countries representing, so that's pretty nice.
That's right. So we've got Naya dropping in a minute here. Just you can tell what country she's from just by her CAG deck top. Look at that, the German flag on that. On her, I don't know what CAG deck we call it in the UK,
yeah,
dry top in the US.
Exactly. No, she's ready to come in. She's going to look in for this entry move for a nice wing over, retaining the feature beautifully. And she's going to fight over to that right side like we've seen all the paddlers do. She pops up a little bit, going in. Well, it looks for a Space Godzilla off to the right. Not a lot of air under that. It is required ICF that they put air for a Space Godzilla. But she's retaining well even after that window shake. These paddlers have such great skill for as young as they are. So she's working way to that right side, looking to set up. Now she's going to plug. There's that space off to the right. Looks like
maybe a loop.
Get a little air, possibly a loop.
It's a good thing we're not the judges here. We just get to call what we see from our angle. That had air on it for sure, I could say, though.
That
I
looked
might not
good.
be a judge, but I think that was aerial.
That looked great. May possibly huge. They can give that huge modifier. This is a Felix attempt, first one we've seen.
Nice. A bit of a different trick than we've seen from some other competitors this morning. So well done. Great first ride for Naya.
Yeah, Naya's paddling in a Jackson Rockstar. And this is, of course, her first Worlds as well.
That's right.
She is out of Cologne, Germany.
Fantastic just to see so many young paddlers out on the water today. You know, with the COVID year, Worlds was pushed back a year, and so we're seeing a lot of new faces here, a lot of first Worlds, because several of the juniors that would have been in their second Worlds last year aged out into the senior category. So, you know, I think this is going to be a little bit of a younger class of juniors, maybe some less experienced competitors, and so really makes their achievements out here and the work to be here all the more remarkable.
Well, it's funny you say that because coming up in Heat 3, we've got kind of a reverse story where she would have not qualified last year and this year, whereas her brother did exactly that. So it's a neat year, giveth and it taketh away. So.
It's true, it's true. So some of these competitors did not get to have their last year as a junior, and others are getting extra. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. But next up,
we have from Spain, Emma Villadomat. She took second place in the Spanish World Cup 2022.
Dropping in, starting things off not with an entry move, but just dropping in to retain the feature, working her way up. Oh no, just missing that surfer's right eddy. She's gonna have to go all the way back across. This is the challenge of this feature. It's tricky to set up. You've got to kind of gamble with that surfer's right shoulder, but if you put too much edge on, you are liable to just bop right out of the feature there. But she's doing a great job paddling fast back up the eddy, working her way back over to that sweet spot to set up for her next trick. And it's a loop!
Oh, excellent. Retains nicely. She has 10 seconds left.
Going for a left spin on the corner, showing that experience, knowing she knows where she is in the feature, and then going for the Felix on the buzzer. What a great recovery after that first flush.
That is awesome. Because a Felix is basically an upside down 360-degree spin. Maybe 270, I think, by rule.
270 degrees. So actually based off of a move called the Felix, which was invented on a wave by Steve Fisher over in Uganda, then adapted to the whole features here. So yeah, actually a harder move than it looks like, but a great move to practice getting comfortable in whitewater and moving around a feature for sure.
It looks plenty hard to me.
That's right.
So coming up next is Asia Lopez Arenas.
Another one out of the Spain kayak team, also most likely from the Sort Kayak Club community, I believe. So Kim Fontenay and Nuria Fontenay Masso, both senior competitors. I can see them on the side coaching and taking photos. We've got our scores up for our first athletes. Live scoring.
Yep, we got the live scores up. They started that in 2019. Here she comes in from the top. We don't have any bio information on her, unfortunately, but we're going to come see if she's going to come in. Now, I haven't seen if she's indicated an entry move or maybe just set up in the eddy. It looks like she's going to try to set up in this eddy. We saw some of the open boaters do that earlier.
Yeah, this is an unusual choice, right? But choosing to catch the eddy on the river left side or surfer's right, setting up for a loop, using that setup nicely. So the right side of the feature is a bit stickier. It is a bit more powerful. But that left side's a little easier to set up, but it might flush you. So it's a gamble. You've got to pick and choose. What is your risk? Going for a Space Godzilla to the left, retaining the feature, using every second in her 45 seconds here to make this ride count. Oh, huge, beautiful Space Godzilla to the right.
Oh, and she catches that flush right there. She was doing really well. Nice retentive ride. You know, they've been practicing here, some of these paddlers for several weeks, so they know what they want to do. They know where they don't want to be. And so they're fighting into those spots, looking for maybe either spin, possibly McNasty. Right,
I think it looked like she was maybe going for that McNasty on the buzzer, but what great competition awareness. She looked calm. She knew where she was. She knew what she wanted. You know, for a lot of these juniors, this is their first World Championship, and how exciting to be here. The ability to handle the pressure, the crowds, the Jumbotron, the judges. It's really fun to watch as they just get better and better normally with each ride.
Absolutely. And this feature is a challenging one. It's a very stable feature in certain spots. It has that diagonal aspect. We'll see paddlers move over to the right all the time. Everyone knows that. It's a very common thing they set up. And these juniors, they're coming in here. All these seniors are helping them out, helping them really build their freestyle acumen so they can go on and represent their team for years to come.
You can see some of our young competitors getting ready, warming up, practicing in the eddy as they wait for their turn. We've got scores up for Asia there, so she should be fairly happy with that. But next up, we have Julie Hewitt out of France.
Julie Wheat, I believe, yes. And
Wheat.
I unfortunately don't have a bio on her either, so we'll just be looking for her to come into the feature. It looks like
Young Julie is actually from Lyon, France, so she paddles a lot at SPB, or Saint-Pierre-de-Boeuf, so also home to some famous French paddlers, if you will, like Tom Dole, Matt Dumoulin, who no longer paddles. She's been here with Marlène and a lot of the French team. She took the train out from France, came out by herself for the weekend, last weekend. Really lovely young lady, strong paddler, has been working really hard, and I'm excited to see her in her first World Championship.
And she's representing France in that Gigi Prod carbon boat, which is a premier boat for these paddlers. So she's going to come and do an entry move for us. She's coming in doing a nice, beautiful wing over. Does she retain? Oh, she flushes just a little bit. Has to do another rescue roll. She's going to get a very deep flush on this, but she's going to fight back up. She still has time. She can get back
She's got
up.
time. She's got time. And that is the gamble of the entry move. You know, are you going to flush, or are you going to start your ride off with those bonus points? She might even have gotten the points for the entry and then flushed after, but she's taking it calm, cool, collected. She's going to be looking to surf across and set up for her next move. You can hear the French team cheering her on.
Yeah, pulling over to that right side. Again, they want to set up on that right side. She's going to plug for a nice, beautiful aerial loop. I saw some good air under that boat.
Trying to keep it straight on the landing, keeping that bow landing upstream as she goes around for the McNasty, pulling it over the top.
There's a nice McNasty attempt. And that's time for Julie Wheat. She came in and threw down some points. We're going to see just here shortly what the score is. And we definitely have now our first round of junior kayakers. They will all come in and do one more. Of course, their scores are combined. This is not a best of, but a combined score for preliminaries. And after this round, we'll move into the other heats, but they are fighting for 1 of 10 spots.
That's right. You can see Coach Marlène there. Marlène will be competing for France later this week. Lots of events to come, and so fantastic just to see the community here, the support that the team members give each other. That ride put Julie into first place, 250 points. So even despite the flush,
All right, very good.
you know, she still was able to get back in there, perform those high scoring tricks, maybe even get those bonuses, the airs, maybe the huge. So what a fantastic first ride for Julie.
Excellent. So we're going to go back to the top of the order. These paddlers that did the entry moves or possibly paddled into that eddy, they're going to go back up to the top. And we're going to get it turned around.
To place as high as possible. Remember, all these girls are fighting for the top 10 positions to make it through to our semi-finals. Looks like she's paddling down now, setting up for an
I think he just put us back here.
So here we go again. Here we go with Holly coming into the feature. She is coming around doing a nice entry move there and wing over. She's going to then move over to that right side, as we're going to see almost every paddler do. Holly, of course, out of Ireland.
Yep, coming out with that Galway scene, I think it's the Southeastern Freestyle Club that they've got over there. So looking to set up that next move. She knows that it's worth taking the time to do the trick right, get the setup right, and there's the air she was looking for.
Excellent. And I can't tell. That's a Gigi Prod, but I can't tell if that's one of the plastic ones or if that's a carbon boat, because Gigi does make plastic now. Beautiful Space Godzilla to the right.
That's the small plastic. Yeah, those Exo Gigi Prod boats are becoming increasingly popular here, and it's just wonderful to see more options for smaller paddlers, right? Having good gear, having the evolution of gear 100% helps the sport progress, helps paddlers progress, and then we get to reap the benefits of that here at the ICF Freestyle World Championship.
And it's nice for these youth paddlers to have new boats instead of beat-up hand-me-downs if they can, because they're definitely paddling new technology instead of 5-10-year-old tech, where the boats definitely improve year over year. So we just saw Holly Ogilvie of Ireland compete. Next back up will be Naya of Germany.
Naya representing the German flag colors of red, yellow, and black on her dry top. We'll be waiting to see her. We're waiting right now for the thumbs up from the head judge. So once those judges see a ride, they actually have to take a little while to make sure they didn't miss any points, right? Their job as a judge is to reward the paddlers with the most points possible, and they want to make sure they didn't miss anything. So it can take a little bit of time in between rides.
And of course, out of Germany, one of her favorite places to paddle is Plattling.
Plattling, the home of a future world championship not in too far from now.
Absolutely. She's been paddling here quite a bit, it would seem, and she is also a musician, like to be outside. She also does teach kayaking and gymnastics, so this is an all-around athlete and scholar, it would seem.
You know, I cannot say enough about having a gymnastic background for this sport. You know, it's explosive, it requires air awareness, it requires power. You can really see that in some of these moves, like the front flips, the front loops, like the McNasties. I just think what a great sport background.
I think when we're talking about it, the words you're looking for, unless we're talking about OC, is balance and grace.
I was pretty impressed with the OCs
and
earlier
they are
today.
pretty impressive. There's a nice wing over attempt for her. She's going to bring it back around into that right side. She's going to put down some more points here. Beautiful retention. Here's the front loop. Oh, on point, straight up and down the feature. That's what the judges want to see.
She plugged that a little further over to that surfer's left side, so flirting with the flush and really pulling it off beautifully, looking to set up her next move here. What's it going to be? A Space Godzilla to the right, landing nice and straight. She's calm. It's like, does she even know the judges are there? I don't know.
And that's what you want. You want to be able to come out and perform your routine with that Felix right there without thinking about anything. Just lay down the move after move. She's got 4 seconds left. Can she plug? She's going to try to fight back up there. 1 second, 0. Not good enough.
Well done, making the most of every second she had in that feature and with a smile on her face.
That is right. So really nice, consistent run. One flush right at the end. She really laid down what she wanted. She did catch that surfer's right eddy when she did pop out earlier, which that's a thing where if you miss, you're going to go deep because you have to fight your way all the way back across. So good job for Naya.
I love seeing the high five from coach and teammate out there as they help her carry her boat back upstream. See the German team out strong with the German flag. So many different countries here at this World Championship.
Yeah, we have a list of all the teams and their numbers, and I failed to bring it over. I'm sorry about that. I'll bring those numbers here shortly.
Well, you know, we have over 200 competitors here in Nottingham this week, which I think just says something about, you know, the health of the sport as a whole, the growth of the sport, and where do we see that growth in the sport more than here in the juniors? So 20 junior women competing for 10 spots in the semifinal.
Absolutely. It's going to be great. So we're still moving along. We still have Emma, Asia, and Julie to go. And I believe coming from upstream right now, we see Emma from Spain. Emma's going to come in. Let's see if she sets up or just drops right in. She's going to float right through. I believe last time she actually eddied out. So let's see if she does it this time.
That's
Looking
right.
for just a drop in. No real entry move, but she establishes the feature without really having to do any real hard work, which is great.
Yeah, that's right. It saves you the time and energy of having to surf across.
Nice, beautiful front loop again, straight up and down, just what the judges want to see. There's the Felix right at the top of her movement. She retains beautifully. Oh, that was so nice.
You hear the crowd cheering as she, unfortunately flips over, but she stays in the feature, dusts it off, does not stop, works right back to that shoulder to set up for her next trick. What's going to be? Looks like a Space Godzilla, maybe a loop, maybe a huge bonus. Unfortunately, flushing off the back. No rest for the weary. 10 seconds to go. That is enough time to get back up and try for one more trick.
There we go. Here she goes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Can she plug? If she initiates before the buzzer, she gets that trick. Unfortunately, she probably doesn't do anything on that round.
But solid effort.
She definitely put some points down. We're going to see what that is here shortly. And again, they're going to cut 10 off the bottom, so she just has to be top 10. She doesn't have to be first.
Yeah, there's a lot of tactics in this sport, you know, especially if you get to go in the later heats. It can be an advantage as you kind of know what's the bar, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm in that top 10.
And she actually looks pretty excited. I think maybe she laid down everything she wanted to, so that maybe that loop attempt at the end would have been just icing on the cake, so good for her.
You can see Coach Nuria giving her a hug here. Emma out of the Salt Kayak Club, Ona and Marianne another teammates from Spain. I just love the stoke you see from athlete to athlete. You know, it's about paddling your best, but you also want everyone else on the water to paddle their best.
Well, one of the most important things in our sport that I don't think a lot of people understand before they get into it is we're a team sport. We absolutely want to paddle in groups. Solo paddling exists, people do it, but we're a team sport where we rely on each other to understand, learn, and support each other on the river.
Next up is Asia from Spain, dropping in, choosing to take the eddy here to use that to set up her first trip. So you notice her time hasn't actually started yet until she enters the feature. And there we go, looking to surf it around, surfing left, fighting back to that right shoulder. The water levels have increased in these last 2 days, and the paddlers have to constantly adapt to the nuances in the feature from day to day, even ride to ride.
Oh, she catches an unfortunate flush there, but she's going to fight back up. Not too bad of a catching that eddy. She's going to bring it back up into this surfer's left side, taking a bit of a breather before she jumps right in, and she's going to bring it way back across to the right. Pulling it around, I suspect she's going to go for this loop again. I don't think she was happy with her first attempt, so here she plugs for the loop. Maybe a Space Godzilla. She put a little twist in there. She did bring it down on the feature this time. Nice retention. Just a few seconds left. 1-0.
Looking for the McNasty, getting a spin, but still points are points.
All right, we might be having a little bit of broadcast issues. Hopefully you can still hear us. That was Asia Lopez of Spain who just went. We're going to take a look at her score here shortly.
For those of us just joining us, I'm Anna Bruno, joined here by Hojo.
I'm Hojo. We're both out of the United States.
And we are watching the junior women's preliminary rounds. We are still in the first heat. One more paddler in this first heat to go. That will be Julie out of France. We've got a score for Asia. What do we got?
Looks like her second round was 100 points, combined score 290. We should see a leaderboard here shortly.
Yeah, you know, 2 rides, both count. This round rewards consistency, right? Paddlers are maybe going to be a little bit more conservative in these early rounds. They're going to do what it takes to make that cut.
And here we go. There's our leaderboard right now. Holly's in the lead with 366 points, followed by Germany's Naya. Then Asia bringing up the third place spot. So right now, if this were the finals, Asia would be in third place, but we got to wait. We got a couple more rounds to go.
We got way more rounds to go, but we got a big week ahead of us. But right now, Julie in fourth right now, but she is going to want to bring herself a little bit higher up to stay safe because we have 3 more heats of junior women to come.
Absolutely. They are fighting for every point at this point in time, and this is
really, even if you finish this in first, you're not safe.
Not even close. Nope, they have to put everything they've got into this. But as you state, it's a 2-round added points, so they have to compete. They have to produce both of those rides, whereas in subsequent rides, they get a throwaway. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2. There are no throwaways in preliminaries.
Nope, we're rewarding consistency, and athletes have to make that choice of going big or playing it safe, and everyone's going to strike that balance a little bit differently. But how wonderful is it to see the sun coming out here just gleaming off of the water and those sparkles off Julie's boat. This is the weather we want for a world championship.
Yeah, if you joined us for squirt earlier, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more a little more English, a little bit more UK.
Yeah, a bit damp.
And if you did join us for squirt, they do 1-minute rides, whereas for surface boat, 45 seconds. That is not a lot of time. It seems like a lot of time for spectators. Oh, they got some time. They can get in there, and boy, once you sit down in that boat and that time starts, it feels like it goes a lot faster than 45.
You know, it's definitely a time-space conundrum because the 45 seconds seems so much longer when someone else is doing it. But
all right, I think they're messing with the timer a little bit. I see them maybe getting ready to get this timer fixed up, and that's what the delay is. Well, once the judges get the technical things started, we'll keep rolling.
Huge shout out to Direct Business Solutions for hosting our live stream here, as well as all of our sponsors and partners, not to mention the many volunteers that help make an event of this scale happen.
Over 200 volunteers from the local area and paddling clubs abroad come to make this happen. Everything from distributing food to running papers, printouts. We've had, of course, due to the pandemic, lots of COVID testing going on. You name it. Parking is a major issue at these events, and they have just brought all of their skills to bear, and we thank the volunteers.
You know, I just came from the athlete tent where they have free massages for the athletes, right? We've got the local College of Sports Science out here helping people out. So this event is really, bringing the community and the town of Nottingham together to see everyone come out and support it in full force. And thank you to all of those listening in at home. Please share our links, make sure that we can get the word out about all the fun to come, as well as what's going on here today.
Yep, hashtag ICF Freestyle. That would be International Canoe Federation. I'm looking over to the judges right now. They are conferring about something. I think they're just maybe messing with the timer a little bit, but we will get underway here shortly with this last paddler of the last round, Julie Wheat of France.
That's right, and for those of you that want to follow along with the scores, you can go and visit the ICF website and follow the schedule to the results link. And right up there, we will have those scores updating in real time, or as close to real time as we can get it. So if you want to go back and check the results, or look for and root for your friends at home, or check the other events that happened earlier today, like that women's squirt boat, the women's C1, or that OC1, to see where people are going to stack up for tomorrow, visit the ICF Canoe Freestyle website.
Excellent. Yeah, that was quite enjoyable this morning. C1 coming into there with the new women's category, adding into the gender equity to these events, which is absolutely essential for building the sport all across the board. So we are just now maybe getting underway here. We're going to find out what the delay is. And we going to definitely bring you the... So I'm joined here by Anna Bruner of the U.S. You were in the squirt boat competition earlier, yes?
That's right, yeah. Did the preliminary rounds today. It was a nice, quiet start to the World Championship. Nice to see the energy and the vibe picking up here. But we've got the Red Bull DJ bumping tunes. We've got people out cheering. Squirt boat, great way to start off the World Championship.
And I believe I see from head judge Paul, he just gave the thumbs up. So we are on for Julie Wheat, our last paddler of this first round.
So Julie throwing down some big moves in her first ride, an entry move, a loop, maybe a Space Godzilla, and that McNasty, probably with air. So she's going to be looking to, at the very least, repeat that ride. So you can see her setting it up as she goes to drop in that Carbon Gigi EXO. Unfortunately, just flushing off on that entry move. She's got time.
Well, it used to be that just some of the only top men would have carbon boats, and now juniors in carbon boats throwing big air. It's just a wonderful sight to see.
The advantage of a carbon boat is that you can actually adapt or adjust the size to suit you. So if you're maybe in between boat sizes, they can kind of customize the sizing as well as the design.
Well, and it being a French company, Guillaume Respond, who builds those, definitely works to make his paddlers very successful. That nice aerial front loop. She pulled that off well. She's going a little slower this time around, looking for the McNasty off to the right.
Using each move to set up the next very fluidly, right? Trying to minimize the time in between tricks and maximize the time doing tricks, going for the other McNasty, and unfortunately, maybe not quite getting it.
Not getting McNasty. Maybe, she kept her paddle in the water. She did what I would call a textbook shove it. She got that boat around, so that's 5 points, and it adds up.
I'm not a judge, and I'm glad I'm not in their position, but gosh, do I appreciate them right there. So 100 points on that ride. Still, points on the board. Solid preliminary round for Julie out of France.
Absolutely. And that is going to bring us to our next heat here shortly. I'm sure they're up in the water. We are going to see Sophie
Gilfillian out of Canada.
Leah Ho from Ireland.
Maya Kretmeyer from Germany.
Yasmin Stangle from Austria.
And Bevin Butler out of Ireland. Bevin also competing in the C1 earlier this morning, so big day.
Yeah, the cross disciplines too. We see some K boats doing some C boats, doing some OC, and oftentimes squirt boats. We'll see a lot of the squirt boaters doing all the disciplines as well, and that's just a wonderful sight to behold.
There's so many different disciplines of kayaking, and there's so many ways to enjoy paddle sports, and the ICF freestyle competitions are really just one. If you like freestyle, there's local rodeos, there's hometown throwdowns, there's river running, and there's slalom kayaking, and young Sophie out of Canada here from the Ottawa River does them all. She's a student at World Class Kayak Academy. She spent the year traveling Ecuador, Chile, the Pacific Northwest, also Canada, and then she's also training and on the junior Canadian slalom team. So multi-talented athlete.
Well, Anna, have you ever dropped a 50-foot waterfall?
I have, actually. Have you?
No, but she has also.
I know it. There you go, starting things off with a loop. This is her first World Championship as a junior. She was so excited to make the Canadian team, the only Canadian junior woman out here at this World Championship. So you can see Team Canada cheering her on, going for that other Space Godzilla. She thinks she drank some maple syrup to prepare for this World Championship as she goes to try and set up for that McNasty.
Well, we're pretty much of the opinion that the Canadian team definitely preps on maple syrup and poutine, which the ICF hasn't figured out is definitely a performance enhancer, but you know what?
You know, it's not on the WADA banned substances list,
It's not on the list,
we'll go
so
for
it doesn't count.
But
There
yeah,
she's working back to that right side, looking for the Space Godzilla.
Yeah, Sophie, 16 years old, checking in with her coaches to see if that trick counted or does she have to go back and do it again. But that was a solid first ride for Sophie.
Yeah, so the athletes can see the score running up, and they also have coaches, and oftentimes the coach will tell them, do it again, nope, didn't count, and they don't know that for sure, but they can definitely tell when something does not come down straight that you better give that another shot because the judges probably did not give that to you. And they can look up at that scoreboard and go, I see some things ticking up, I got enough, let's go on to the next one.
You know, honestly, it's a little bit intimidating to have your own self playing on replay in 3 times the large size, like 3 times bigger than you are in real life right next to you. So good on them for not getting distracted. Next up, we've got Leah Ho from Ireland. This young girl, also I believe out of the Galway area, she is a flatwater freestyle ninja. She's got a pool in her garden, and she practices at home all the time. She also did this squirt boat competition this morning in her float boat. So just what a great way to gain competition experience, dust off the nerves, and here we go, unfortunately missing that entry move, and she's going to be making her way back up the eddy to try and make the most of that time left.
Yeah, she brings us back up here. She's going to be going through her head. I only have now 1/3 or 2/3 of my ride left. What do I need to put down to give me the most points? So she comes up and establishes, unfortunately catching a little edge. She's going to flush out again.
Yeah, was that like a reverse Felix? Was it?
Well, I think it was that little curly thing on the side of the wave that's been giving a few paddlers problems. But now she's established. She's got some time left. Let's see what she can do. She's going to move way over to this right side, which they've been doing, setting up.
One big trick can still be a lot of points on the board, and that Space Godzilla was beautiful and going to set up the McNasty on the buzzer, showing that composure. And that all that time practicing, it's like you don't even need to think about what that move is. You just feel it out. So solid recovery from Leah.
Next up is Maya from Germany. Germans have one of the bigger teams here. Great Britain's probably the biggest. U.S. and Canada, Germany are all some similar-sized teams, so they're bringing quite a few athletes here. I believe they have 3 women in just this category alone.
3 junior women, so a full team. That's right. Each country is only allowed to bring a limited number of athletes per category. So for a lot of the athletes, competing at the World Championship is the culmination of a long journey and a lot of work and effort just to get here. You've got to make your national team. And for some places, that can be quite competitive.
And normally Great Britain would have an extra because their previous junior champion in this category, but she went from junior to senior, so they actually have an extra in the senior category.
That's right. So yeah, Audie, who'll be competing in the K1 women's, their preliminary round starts at 12:15 on Wednesday, and Audie will be competing in her first World Championship as a senior, though she's the reigning junior world champion.
That is correct.
And let's not forget, that is the title these young ladies are fighting for. Even in this preliminary round, every ride counts, everything sets you up.
And while we have second and third place, first place is absolutely the goal they are all shooting for, and she's got the thumbs up here. We should hear a pretty big cheer from that German wielding flag over there.
That's right. German flags are waving. But I'll say, to be fair, everyone is just trying to do their best and see where that places them. So going for that loop to start off with, does she have a mask attached to her? Oh, no, it's her life jacket.
No, she's just did the entry attainment, or entry move to the back without any real points. She managed to get the first loop attempt off, but it flushed her out, so she's going to come back in. Again, she's only got about 20 seconds left, so she's got to think about what she can score with the fastest.
That's right. Or what is the move that she's the most consistent on that can give her the most amount of points? So it's been really fun to watch all the athletes as they try and figure out what are their strengths all week, you know, getting that coaching, getting that feedback, doing video review, watching your rides, analyzing your rides to try and figure out what do I do well and where can I improve.
Well, she's not happy with that. I bet she's going to come back, have a conversation with one of her coaches, figure out, okay, maybe slow this down, speed this up. She's going to come back and bring some more points into this. Right now, still sitting in the top 4 spots are Ogilvie, Wheat, Darwala, and Lopez Arenas.
That's right. So those are our first paddlers, all from our first heat. But that makes sense, right? These paddlers in our second heat have only had one ride.
Correct. It'll take them a bit to get up there unless they throw an amazingly huge ride.
So next up is Yasmin, out of Austria. This is Austria's first ever junior woman competitor at a world championship. So that's quite exciting. Yasmin is going to be rocking that blue Jackson Rockstar. She competed at the Salza Rodeo recently and has also been doing a kids camp with Bartosz Czarderna out of Poland and Kim Fontenay. So super rad to see those guys running junior development programs all week. She's been working hard. I'm expecting some good rides and some good tricks out of her, looking to set things up with that entry move.
Yeah, she retains nicely on that wing over attempt. I bet that'll put some nice points down for her already. She can see if they're there. She's going to move around now and try to get way to the right side so she can plug for a loop. That's going to push her left. And if they get far enough right, they can plug that loop and then move a little left, plug something else before they have to move back to the right. She's playing it safe.
Yeah, so she's looking for a Space Godzilla. Again, it's not enough to just do these tricks. You're trying to get those bonuses, trying to go huge, trying to get the air, maybe in some cases even clean or not using your paddle. She didn't like that Space Godzilla on the first attempt, so she went back for it. 8 seconds left. I'm expecting her to maybe try and set up this McNasty. Here she comes over the top, so snappy.
That looked really good, McNasty attempt. The McNasties, the loops don't have to have airs, the spaces do, and that's why she's going back. She feels like that boat didn't come out, or possibly her coach. Do it again, the boat didn't come out. Putting that air into that boat. We're going to see what Yasmin scores here shortly while we get ready for Bevin Butler of Ireland.
Bevin, yeah. That's right, but yeah, Yasmin, great first ride for Yasmin. I hope she's happy with that. Like a lot of people, I saw her working to dial in those McNasties this week. I was right there with her. We were commiserating the eddy as we fell on our face a few times. Coach Bartosz out of Poland giving her that high five, hyping her up. Fantastic.
240 points on her first ride. That's quite the ride. That is nothing to shake a stick at in this competition.
Yeah, that's going to put her in a strong spot to set herself up for where she wants to be in these preliminary rounds, making that top 10. Next up, dropping in Bevin Butler out of Ireland, one of the Southeast Freestyle crews, working with coaches like David McClure and Aoife Hanrahan. And really, this is a talented young paddler setting things off with the McNasty. You can just see how much she stands up in her boat, leading her tricks with her head and body, looking for that loop, getting the air. Maybe linking it into a cartwheel?
She's just going for the points straight away. McNasty to loop to cartwheel. She's got full command of this feature right now.
Other McNasty with air.
Doing a great job retaining and just linking things together. She is definitely doing the routine in her head. Nice space to the right. Just a beautiful routine so far.
Yeah, she is hitting the points she wants. She's working for those bonuses. Bevin competing. Oh, a phonics monkey! Amazing! So what? She's so happy. Look at that smile.
Oh,
that is what you want to see. Those moments when it all comes together.
And this is going to be a score that's going to, with one ride, probably shoot her right up to the top. And you can tell she knows where her competition is. We don't seed this competition. This is a random draw. So the athletes are not given any sort of priority or another athlete, whereas the rest of the competition, we go in reverse order. So those who did better go last. So they have to bring it now. They don't know what went before them. They don't know what's going to come after them. They have no advantage. So she's like, I'm just going to put a phonics monkey on the board.
Right? So phonics monkey, with that, you need to keep your stern elevated or above that green water, white water before moving fluidly into that loop. So a challenging trick, and the first one that I think we can say that we've seen today in the junior women. So what a ride from young Bevin.
That was extraordinary. Going to take it back to the top now with Sophie of Canada.
Pressure is on, right? You know, you see these other people, you see them competing, and you know what you need to do. So Sophie's second ride here. Sophie making her home on the Ottawa River, one of the freestyle meccas But a lot more big wave surfing out there than the whole boating style that you see over here in Europe.
Yeah, you know, they definitely prize their waves up in Canada. It's an extraordinary natural resources up there. And she was the 2019 Vice or Co-Women's Freestyle National Champ, to 21 Freestyle National Champ, and the 2022 Kayak and Canoe National Team. Obviously, she's here, and Junior World, competing in the upcoming Junior World Championships
For
in
slalom.
Italy for slalom kayak.
That's right. She's just come off a month of intensive slalom training. She's just got this beautiful new murky water carbon boat of the Jackson Rockstar. She said, "I'm so happy my parents were able to fly it over for me when they came here." So parents Jeff and Fiona out here supporting Team Canada, cheering them on.
And
So-
Murky Water is a Canadian company, you know, helping them out. She's going to come over into this Surfer's Right edit to set up. So instead of going for an extra move, play it safe. But it's a neat attainment spot because it automatically puts them on the right. They don't have to fight back across.
Yeah, she's trying to use the water, right? I always say that kayaking is actually about being lazy. You're trying to figure out the way to make the water do the work for you.
And right now, the athletes and spectators are getting her back up into that feature for that flush. Now she's going to come in for the surfer's left side, work her way over to the right, and set up for some moves. I suspect we'll probably see a loop first.
I think she's going to try and get that loop back on the board. She knows she can do better, and she wants it.
There she got that loop out of the way. She'll move it back over. Possibly we'll go for a McNasty here or a Space
I'm
Godzilla.
going for a Space Godzilla. Getting the rotation. Space Godzilla is actually increasing in value on the score sheet since last year. Or since the last World Championships, because that is a hard trick to score and to do correctly. Maybe getting that McNasty in there, she should be happy with that ride. You can see those pinkies go up on that paddle.
Yeah, she very much enjoyed that. Trying to get out of the feature now. It's done for her preliminary. She now has to wait for the subsequent paddlers to really put down what they're going to put down. We'll see what her score is here shortly as she looks back at the scoreboard. And there we go. We have the scores up now. Looks like this is the top 10 at the moment.
So you can see that little Q next to them, and that Q means that they would be qualified to go on to the next round. So looks like they scored her 90 points on that ride, so 280 combined.
Yep, and she now has both of her runs down. We're going to look next. Looks like upstream or downstream. I can't tell.
This is the challenging
Leah.
part about freestyle, right? It is a judge sport. And what we see and what we're looking for might be different than what the judges are seeing and what the judges are looking for. And so even when a trick feels really good or looks amazing, it can be really heartbreaking to realize that maybe there was just that one little thing that made it not quite what the judges needed to see. So Leah Ho out of Ireland. She will be starting her ride from the bottom eddy. So taking the surf-on approach rather than the drop-in approach. I see a big smile here. I'm loving her color coordination.
Well,
look good, feel good, paddle good. Isn't that right?
Kayakers are all about style, and here we go. She's going to attain this from the bottom, come all the way over to the right, look to set up for her routine. She wants to put a lot of points down on the board to make those qualifying spots. Fighting a little bit, but manages to retain. That's pretty tricky right there.
It is. It takes balance. It takes coordination. It takes reacting. But she wants that high up setup on the plug, going for a huge aerial loop, but unfortunately maybe hitting the bottom or not quite getting that angle and flushing off the feature.
Yeah, it's definitely flatter over on the left, and she's trying to fight for that center, and both times sort of went around it. And that wasn't where she wanted to plug, but she's going to come back in and give it another shot.
You know, Leah, though, performs under pressure. Her last ride, getting two big scoring tricks in almost with only 10 seconds left. So I don't count her out yet. There's a big Space Godzilla, and now she's going to go right into that McNasty. Right again. What a way. Grace under pressure, or should I say Leah under pressure? I'm not really sure there, but well done.
Excellent. And if they initiate that move on the buzzer, they have the right to finish it for points. And she did that on the buzzer. So if she landed that, the judges can award that. So good work for her, not giving up, not seeing that clock tick down and go, oh, it's over. She drove right till that 0 mark and went beyond.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, I think it's like for these young athletes to have that composure under pressure on that competition scene is really, really impressive. And it means that for me, the future of freestyle is looking strong. You know, it wasn't that long ago that you wasn't expected to see these higher scoring tricks like these McNasties, like the Phonics Monkeys in a junior competition. And each year, I think you're seeing the standard go a little bit higher.
There's Coach Tom giving her a good high five after her 190-point ride, 360 points. We'll see where that puts her if they put up the leaderboard here shortly, but they seem to be pretty happy with that. Next up, we're going to see Maya Kurtmeyer from Germany.
That's right, dropping in here. Going for the entry move. Starting things off, sticking it, retaining the feature. That is a good place to be. Setting things up, looking for either a spin or a McNasty, bringing the boat over the top. That move named in part, I believe, for McDonald's by one Eric Jackson, legend of kayaking, who will be competing later this week in the K1 men's preliminaries tomorrow.
That is correct. Yep. Oh, coming over. A little bit of a stern grab. That's going to cause a flush. She's going to set up for this roll. She has 15 seconds. There is enough time for her to get back up there, but she is going to have to work very hard. And when they do that, by the time they get to the feature, they're out of breath. So now it's a move where you have no gas left in the tank, so they got to go right to the reserve.
But speaking of not giving up, she really gave that everything she had, and unfortunately that is just not quite enough time for her to get back to that feature.
This is a tough one. In freestyle kayaking, we consider this an attainable feature. And an attainable feature has actually different rules than a non-attainable feature. Although some of these athletes, they have to fight to really attain this. So it's going to be a chore for some of them. They are definitely
That's right.
Fighting it out.
With the higher water levels, not only does the feature change, it flattens out a little bit, it becomes a little bit flushier, the boils next to it also change. And so you can see the paddlers having to work hard, fighting a little bit as they try and work their way back into the feature. But next up from Austria, Yasmin, catching her breath, putting on those nose clips. For those of you maybe thinking about getting a kayak or starting to learn how to kayak, nose clip is a very valuable piece of gear to invest in. Helps keep all that water out of your sinuses.
Helps me taste dinner later with that royal flush. So here we go, coming in for the wing over. Retains nicely. That's been a challenge for some kayakers, not for her. She's going to bring it around to this right side.
Looking calm as she works her way, trying to find that sweet spot on the shoulder to set up for that loop. Trying to get that air on there, keeping the boat nice and straight. No stop, right back over to that shoulder. Plugging for that Space Godzilla to the right. That was beautiful.
Yeah, you can see the action they call typewritering in whitewater, which is a feature of a lot of holes where they just pushes you over as she goes in for that McNasty.
This is a great ride so far.
Just putting down the points, moving to where she wants to go, having it set her up, and then executing the next move after the next.
Going for the other Space Godzilla. And then maybe, would I be surprised to see her next McNasty? No, I would not. Is she going to do it?
On the buzzer, if she finishes that spin, doesn't finish the spin, but she's pretty happy with that.
What a ride.
She says, I don't need those extra 10 points. I laid down what I need to lay down. She's probably pretty happy with that. Now she has to wait, look at that screen, see how she compares to the top of the list.
This is what every athlete hopes for, I think, is that moment of feeling like all that hard work and that preparation pays off in a ride like that one. 380 points for Yasmin, so combined score of 620. That is going to put her right on the top of the leaderboard.
Coach Bartosz really happy with that. The safety boater behind them, really happy with that too, it would seem.
It does. Thank you again to all of those volunteers, but for now, all eyes on Bevin as she drops into the feature out of Ireland. Bevin with a really strong first ride, looking to set things up again, starting off with a McNasty, trying to get the air, bringing that boat over straight. Now
that was close to a flush, and man, she worked hard to keep that on the feature. Good for her.
Going to set things up, looking for a Space Godzilla or a loop. She is a magician in there right now. Just working that feature, making it work for her as she plugs for the loop with air. Really not wasting much time between moves here, right? Going for the other McNasty. Oh, unfortunately catching that edge and flopping over. 5 seconds left. Is she going to try for it? We'll see. She says no.
Big smile on her face. She's pretty happy with both of those rides. She definitely knows she's got a high score. If I had to lay money, I would wager she's probably in.
I was going to say, that's going to be really curious to see what the standard is going to be. You know, right now you're going to need, I think, at the very least, that 350 point mark to be comfortably into that top 10 or maybe 300 points, which is, you know, a space, a loop, maybe a McNasty, a loop in both spaces. There's a lot of ways that athletes can play with the point system to make that score work.
Absolutely. And she brought that phonics early on, so she can bring more than just spaces and McNasties.
Yeah, Bevin currently sitting in second place on the leaderboard right now. So Yasmin in first, Bevin in second, Leah Ho also from Ireland, Sophie Gilfillian in fourth, and Naya out of Germany in fifth. So again, you can see this top 5 has completely changed from our first heat.
And it will just continue to do so. Our next round, we're going to see McKinley Kate Hargrove of the United States, Ida Wellsnick of Germany, Tully Tierney of Finland, Eleanor Knight of the U.S., and Soizic Demolene of France.
Some names that I recognized from the C1 this morning, also from our U.S. team. So yeah, great to see so many young women here. But today, this is our last event of day 1 here at the ICF 2022 Freestyle World Championship. We're in the women's junior kayak preliminary round. That's our top 10 leaderboard right now. Tomorrow, kicking things off early, I believe, is the men's prelims, or, well, we're going to have to check the schedule, to be honest, but you should check the schedule yourself on the ICF website to see what we've got coming up. We've got C1, we've got K1 men's, K1 women's, open canoe, squirt boating, and of course, the junior men's. So lots on, not to mention a synchronized freestyle kayaking at the end of the event, a masters competition for athletes over 40 who didn't want to compete in this particular world championship, and a world's biggest loop competition. So lots of fun to be had here this week.
Yes, we got some exciting competition coming up for us. In this next round, this is the one paddler was talking about, McKinley Kate. If we had the Worlds last year in 2021, as we should, she would not have been able to compete.
That's right. McKinley Kate, actually 14 years old, turning 15 later this year.
And her brother would have competed as a junior. So he got bumped into the senior class, but she got an extra year of competition.
Yeah.
So sort of a bonus for her. And
well, not only that, but she's going to be one of very few juniors that gets to compete, I believe, in 3 world championships, just the way that it falls.
It's that bonus. Yep, you get that extra year back to back. But she's not actually the youngest. There's another junior woman that's about a few weeks younger than her. One of those things where when this does happen, it's kind of like, am I the youngest? Because that's kind of an achievement, right?
That's
you
true,
get to be the
that's
youngest.
true.
And so we will see her go along with some other members of the European community and 2 U.S. paddlers in this particular heat. We haven't seen a U.S. paddler junior women's yet.
Yeah, so again, each country gets 3 junior women to represent them per country. And again, because of that age limit, the year you turn 15 to the year you turn 18, the juniors are often some of the most competitive classes.
That is correct. So we're just waiting for the judges to get fired up here, going on. We have a handful of judges, and typically the standard is that all the judges that are up there for women's category, junior women's OC, are the same judges throughout. We do not want to change judges. They will start, they will do preliminaries, they will do quarters if necessary, they will do semis and finals, all as the same judge core.
Per category, judge core per category.
Per category, and that makes it as consistent as possible. And I believe we have up there Poffenberger.
Judging.
Judging, Poffenberger judge. We have Beranger as a judge. And I cannot make out the last judge, but they will be the judge for this entire competition. And here we go.
Your vision's better than mine, but I can see bib number 11, McKinley Kate Hargrove out of the USA, calling Columbus, Georgia, her hometown. Brother Mason also competing on the men's team. She's going to be starting things off with an entry move, coming in, flipping it over, and retaining the feature, working for it. Well done, MK or McKinley Kate. So going to start things off with that front loop.
Of course, watching at home is Dad and Brother Mathis. They couldn't make it here, so they are probably watching in the live feed.
Not to mention Joseph and Lucy Hargroves. You guys are awesome.
Yes, extended cousins now as they watch McKinley Kate come and throw down. She's been practicing really strongly all week. She can throw it. Hopefully the competition nerves don't get to her, and she can just come and produce. She's a family of competitors, and there's the McNasty. Nice.
Beautiful McNasty from McKinley Kate. You can see these guys have been over here for almost 2 months now. Huge looper, Space Godzilla. And for the athletes that have had more time in this feature, you can see the comfort and familiarity with it. Going to set up for that back loop. Does she get it? We will see. What a great ride for McKinley Kate Hargrove out of Columbus, Georgia, or technically Phoenix City, Alabama.
Yeah, and that's the first back loop we've seen in the women's junior kayak. So that was wonderful to see her bring a little bit new routine.
Little spice.
Exactly. So we'll see what her score is here momentarily.
That's right. So the Hargrove family actually working really hard to help Columbus, Georgia, which hosts the next World Championship and the World Cup. So World Cup's taking place this fall, this October. Open event, anyone can go to it to compete in freestyle. And then Columbus, Georgia will be the location for our next World Championship in 2023.
Which will, of course, be a wave feature. That'll be nice. Looks like Butler's score came in finally. We did not see that beforehand, but she has taken a commanding lead with 700 points. So McKinley Kate Hargrove, 346 points for her first ride. That's doing pretty good for her. Next up, we have Leah Ho from Ireland.
No, that's our last heat. We've actually got Ida out of Germany.
Ida out of Germany.
So I can see Ida making her way towards the feature here in that, representing her country in that country flag with both her carbon boat and her CAG top. Gliding things up, looking for the entry 3, bringing it over, trying to get that air on it, and then immediately moving over to set things up for her next trick. Going for a loop with air. Maybe losing the bow angle on that, but she is bringing it back, fighting over to that right shoulder.
Yeah, so she is definitely one of our older juniors. She took 5th place in Worlds in 2019, 5th place in Euros in 2016. She's been competing for quite some time now, so she has a lot of skill she's going to bring to bear here.
Trying to set things up for the McNasty and unfortunately flushing out. You know, you can see there's such a big age gap, isn't there, between that 15 to 18, and so... But it's not all about size, it's not all about power. That's the beauty of the sport. It's about technique, it's about how you use the water.
Absolutely, right on the buzzer, coming in for that McNasty attempt right at the end. So she's going to want to probably come back and get more points. I don't think she's happy with her performance, but she has another chance to put even more points.
Going for that aerial pop out, just for fun.
So we're going to stand by, take a look at her score here shortly.
You know, you can be a really good kayaker, Hojo, and then being able to bring everything together during those 2 rides of a competition is a very different skill. And it's one that takes practice. And so for these juniors, every competition that you get to do counts. And that score right there, 140 points, so decent first score for her. She's happy. I think she knows that she wants those bigger scoring moves like those McNasties in her next ride. But, you know, first up, we've got to watch our next competitor.
Myra Ketemeyer.
Nope, we are on Tully Tierney from Finland. I'm just going to hide this from you.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong heat. Tully from Finland.
So Finland, another country maybe you wouldn't expect to have a strong freestyle team, but it's so awesome to see them out here every year, see them bringing their juniors. Lots of development camps happening in Finland right now. And also, I don't know if you've seen them, but they have some really amazing looking freestyle waves as well.
Yeah, all of Scandinavia has wonderful water. A lot of people go up to Norway now and Finland and Sweden to find this beautiful fjord water. So she's just reflecting off that surfer's left shoulder. This has been a problem we've seen for some of the paddlers today. It's a hard fight, but I'm sure she'll get back up there and probably plug for one more move.
Yeah, the trick is, you know, you don't want to take it that ferry too high because then you're just going to really struggle to set up your plug, right? And so it is that delicate balance. So unfortunate first ride for Ida, but that is why we have 2 rides.
That's correct. She has time to put down more points.
Yeah, see those. So fun to see that Finnish flags waving and to see that community.
It is wonderful to have them out here. Next up, we are going to see Eleanor Knight from the United States.
That's right. Eleanor coming out of the West Coast United States, up out of Washington, like Seattle area. Dad, Christian, is a paddler, so this is a whitewater family. Eleanor came out to the OKC, the Oklahoma Whitewater Center for team trials, and she had never really been in a freestyle boat before. She learned to loop that week and is just, you know, a skier, a mountain biker, a strong athlete, and she has been on the water nonstop trying to dial in this feature and get as much time kayaking as she can because she tells me, I just love it.
And she definitely is having fun here. She's going to drop in for a wing over. Nope, she's just going to do a drop in just to get her started right there where she wants, so she doesn't have to come all the way to that right side. And there's that loop. Right off the bat, retains nicely.
Going for the loop. So that loop needs to be a weightless motion, right? And you need to land in control. So what we're calling, we don't know if the judges are agreeing with what we say. That's why we have that live scoring. So she didn't like that loop, so she went back for it, getting that air bonus. Well done, Eleanor. Using that eddy to set up her next trick. What's it going to be? A Space Godzilla, almost linking it into something else there.
That looked like a space loop attempt. It might have been just a rescue loop, but doesn't matter. She retains the feature, and that's what's important. Unfortunately, on that next space attempt, she does catch that edge. She has 3 or 4 seconds left. Can she bring one more move? She can see the clock.
She's trying for it. What's she going to go for? Oh, that is time for Eleanor, but still, strong performance. Oh, my goodness. There's the air.
There it would have been. I don't think she was clock aware on that one. She's looking to the right. I think that's probably
or maybe she just wanted that extra practice.
Well, I think the coach is going to help her out, be like, okay, if you're going to run out of time, turn and try it, land that thing, because you don't want to run out of time surfing over on the right.
Great first ride for Eleanor. Hard to believe that young lady has only been paddling freestyle for a few months.
Oh, it's beautiful. Again, these juniors, some of them have been competing in a few different competitions, either locally or internationally. Some, this is their first go at any sort of real major competition.
Yep, so we've got Soizic out of France coming up next. So France, again, traditionally a really strong team, strong freestyle community, and they always bring the fun, bring the vibe, bring the energy on shore as well. So I can see her teammates rushing down to start cheering her on even before she's started. But yeah, we've got in this heat here, this is our third heat of the junior women, so we've got one more heat to go after this, but McKinley Kate, Ida, Tully, and Eleanor are still going to have one more ride, while Soi's our last paddler of today. It still has 2 rides to go.
That's correct. And they're getting her all set up. Judges are looking around. I'm seeing if they get a thumbs up yet. They're just getting things settled.
Yeah, and, every heat we're seeing that leaderboard shift up as these 20 paddlers are going to try to fight for those top 10 spots.
That is correct. Now in some of the bigger classes, they'll actually cut to a quarterfinal where they'll take 25 paddlers. 20 paddlers. 20 paddlers.
So it depends on how many competitors there are. That will actually impact the size of the quarterfinal. Whereas the semifinal is always 10,
correct,
and a final is always 5.
I think it's 25%
of the field rounded up to the nearest 5.
That's right.
Yeah, if you're curious, check out the ICF rules on the ICF Freestyle page. Or if you're watching at home, make sure you're sharing what's happening here. Use that hashtag ICF Freestyle.
Spread it far and wide. We are enjoying this event here. The sun came out, so it's a beautiful day now. Had a little bit of rain earlier, but the paddlers don't mind. They're going to get wet no matter what. It's just the spectators that it matters.
It's nice to get, it's nice to get wet when you're kayaking. Let's put it that way. But no, it's great to see over 200 athletes here in Nottingham, England, after more than 2 years of almost no international competitions. So last year's World Championship did not happen. It's happening now. And I think just you can see how grateful the community is to be back together and how much fun it's been to see how hard people have been working over the last few years to try and progress their skills. But it's been a challenging time, with COVID. Oh, here's our leaderboard right now. So right now, Eleanor's sitting in that 10th place spot with 156 points. So she knows that she's going to need to bump up that score if she wants to stay in that top 10.
Well, yeah, Eleanor knows that Abby Holcomb's still up to coming. She's one of the top paddlers. I believe
I've seen both Neve and Poppy paddling super well as well.
They can bring the heat, and so she knows these other paddlers can bump her off, so when she comes around, she's going to want to throw a much bigger run. But here we go, Soizic.
That's right.
Demolene from France.
Best part about the competition is that for these 45 seconds, the feature is all yours. So here we go. What is she going to do with it? Starting things off with that entry move, unfortunately taking the flush.
And that's the threat of the entry move. You can flush. We've seen it. Sometimes they retain, sometimes they don't, but she is fighting really hard to get back up there. She's got some great paddle strokes to get her back into this feature.
So working her way over to that surfer's right, holding that edge, keeping her boat nice and collected as she tries to drop up to the top to go plug for that loop. You can see that. I believe she's got a carbon boat but plastic paddle blades. That's an unusual combination.
It is a bit weird. I wonder, too, if it's not the length of the paddle that's more important. These freestyler paddlers tend to opt for a shorter paddle than a slalom or a creek boater.
That's right.
She's moving around to this left side. She's got about 2 seconds left. She knows she's got to plug it, and she just can't quite get it back over the bubble, but she's got one more run to put some more points down.
That's right. So she showed great hole awareness, great edge awareness there, great boat control, even if some of those tricks maybe didn't go quite as much as she was hoping they were, and unfortunately not managing to score any points in that round.
Not the score she wants, but she has another shot to put some more points down, and she will see her here shortly. But back to the top of the circuit, McKinley Kate Hargrove.
That's right. McKinley Kate had a fantastic first ride. Hargrove family, kayaking family, dad Matt and brother Mathis watching at home, Lucy and Joseph cheering her on, as well as all of the Team River Runner community that their family helps coach and train. So McKinley Kate, they work with veterans. They're pretty close to Fort Benning down there in Columbus, Georgia, and they do a lot of great things. So it's amazing to see the progress that she, like a lot of these young juniors, has made in just the last year or even 6 months as they work to get ready for this World Championship.
And since we don't have a cadet category, some of these younger siblings were out here competing in the Young Guns program.
That's right.
The last few days, and they had a fun competition.
Her sister Mary Claire actually earned a bronze medal in the Young Guns earlier this week. 2 bronze medals.
No, second place.
Oh,
she
second
got
place.
a silver. That's right. Here we go. So she's going to drop in. She does this wing over attempt. Looking for that submersive wing over. Keeps her on the feature. Points right off the bat. And
I
now
think she's going to go for that McNasty. That was right on the edge. Will that count? That was kind of on the flush line. Yeah, McKinley Kate, strong paddler.
I'm sure the coach is yelling at her what he thinks of this brother on the side there, yelling to coach her sister.
She's working to set up that next McNasty. I love that she's color coordinated her helmet to her boat there, you know?
It's quite nice. Yeah, she's moving it over. She's not getting it, and she's moving further to the left, so she has to reset. And now she's going to abandon that and go right to a clean front loop.
Yeah, you can see those pinkies go up as she tried to show the judges, I was not using my paddle. This is not the ride that she was hoping for, but well done, McKinley Kate, to get points on the board. Do the trick you know you can do easiest. And unfortunately, that is time for her, but she's going to go for that McNasty anyway, just to show, hey, judges, I can do this trick.
Get ready, because I'm going to do it for you here shortly in the next round. That's what she's saying. We will see how she moves into the next round, if so.
What a great first 2 rides for her first ever World Championship.
Yeah, we got Ida Wellsnick coming up next from Germany. So we will see McKinley Kate Hargrove, 346 points. So she put down some better points this ride, 496 points. That does move her into the top.
I believe for some reason those scores are switched, and that was her first ride score.
Did I get those? I think I
her
must have
second
just
ride
read
score was that
wrong.
150, yeah.
150.
But still a strong combined ride score that should put her solidly into that top 10.
So again, Ida Wellsnick coming out of Germany for us. She is
one of our older junior competitors, you said. 5th place finisher in the last World Championship and at the Europeans.
And 5 times German squirt boat champion. So she does it all.
What? Where was she today? Just teasing. She was probably. Sometimes it's just hard for these athletes to balance multiple events. And
nice entry McNasty on that one. Bringing it way over to this right side. She is really working hard to go right where she wants to go. Nice front loop with air.
Beautiful. Immediately working her way back over to that right corner. You can see the over thruster in her boat there, that kind of little bobble of air, that lump that tries to give you less water displacement. So you actually can get more air and more height on your tricks. So there's that Space Godzilla to the right that she's going for, linking it and maybe into a loop. This is going to be a World Championship that I think you're going to start to see more links than we've seen in past ones across all categories. So going for that McNasty, bringing it over the top. That had to feel good.
And it was definitely before the buzzer. She sold that to the judges. Now we have to just calculate her score and see where she sits after this. But she might not have had the exact ride she wanted. She's definitely working a little slower, methodical. But she put some points on the board, and I have a feeling she's going to definitely move on.
She's smiling. Let's hope so. So, yeah, we are into Heat 3 here. We've got one more heat to go before we wrap things up here today. But don't stress, lots more on this week to come. There's that score, 140 points, which puts her at 526 combined. That should get her safely through to the next round.
All right, looking upstream now. We are looking for
Tully
Tierney of Finland. She's going to drop in. Just do a nice attainment drop. Setting up, going immediately typewriter to the left. That's what that feature does.
Unfortunately, flushing off on the loop there. This is a tough feature for some of these smaller paddlers. You know, you need to be assertive, you need to be aggressive, you need to kind of boss your way around. Also, as you said, that typewriter, this feature is significantly more angled than it looks on your screen at home. I know kayaking is one of the sports for everyone watching where I watch people do it and I think, gosh, that looks easy. And then you get in there and you think, how is this so much harder? How are they making this look so easy?
Well, I get in there and usually wonder, how did I end up upside down? That's these paddlers, these young women have built so much great skill just to be able to come and wrangle this feature by itself, let alone throw moves, shows a lot of work, the effort they've put into this.
Yeah, and so, it's unfortunate. You don't always have the rides you want on the day that in the moment that you want them, but what you've gained and what you've learned in the process and how much better you get by trying, I think is what's the addictive thing that keeps these paddlers coming back time after time again.
That is correct. So we just saw Tully Tierney.
Next up is Eleanor Knight.
And she's going to stage from upstream again. She's going to come on down, probably take that little eddy, take a look at the feature, and then drop in for the ride she wants.
So Eleanor, I believe, is bubble girl right now. So she was in 11th place on one ride. So she knows that this ride matters. So she is fighting her way for that top 10 positioning. Will she make it in? It remains to be seen. But either way, this is her time to shine out of Seattle, Washington.
She's just going to drop into the feature just to stay stable, move a little bit over to the right. She wants to get set up there, so when she plugs, she knows she's going to move left. So there it is, plugging up. Didn't quite get the bow where she wanted it. Up. And can she catch that eddy? Oh, she can't. This is an unfortunate flush for Eleanor.
Eleanor working hard here, keeping her composure, eyes on the prize, eyes on the feature. She works her way back upstream.
You can tell she's had some really good paddle instruction. That vertical paddle stroke tells you a lot about how much she really values her form.
I was just going to say that I can see her dad, Christian, filming and coaching here from the side. It's so great to have these paddling families. I think kayaking is just such a great family-friendly sport. You don't have to do freestyle. You can get out on easier grade 2, 3 whitewater. You can get out on harder whitewater. It's just so nice to see families out on the water enjoying time, and what a great sport to get youth into.
Absolutely. And, if you want to get involved in this sport, anyone who's watching at home, most local pools have clubs that meet. You can find local clubs that paddle. It is just a wonderful time. Unfortunately, Eleanor does not get the points she wants on that. She is going to take those points out of the preliminaries, and we'll see where she stands.
That's true. It's still a lot to be proud of.
All right. Well,
next up is Soizic
Demolene. She's just charging right down. She's like, I'm just going to come down and do this entry move and impress the judges with boom, and there it is, and she retains beautifully. Oh, that's what she wanted right there last time she flushed.
That's
this
right.
time she's going to pull it around, get way to the right, set up for this McNasty, I'm thinking.
It does look like she's trying to get herself into that back blast. So that McNasty, you need that 180-degree rotation before going through the loop, which she's like, let's just go for the loop. I like that one. Getting that air on that move. Oh, no, maybe flushing, managing to retain that feature. Again, that edge awareness, that boat control really comes into play here. Going for a Space Godzilla to the right.
Good job on the retention on this one. She is just holding on, even with that edge, even with that second drop, she is still third drop.
Triple window
on the
shade.
feature.
That should be a trophy move.
Triple shade.
The triple shade, we call that the window shade when you lose your upstream edge and get almost like you've pulled the window shade up and let it roll back up. She's laughing. She's like, how did I do that?
She even knows it. Was that three?
I think that was three in a row,
That was three.
But still, before that, some beautiful tricks, high energy moves, great amplitude, and just love to see that smile in the sunshine here.
All right, so we are done now with Heat 3.
Heat 3.
Bringing it up to Heat 4.
Our final heat of the junior women's.
We will have Isabella Warmall, Abby Holcomb, Christina Villa, Poppy Ward, and Naya Mackin. That's
Neve. Neve Mackin.
Neve?
Yeah, Neve.
All right.
Yeah. You have to get a lesson in the Irish beforehand from how to pronounce or how to spell all the Irish and the Welsh names, but she's actually representing Great Britain. But yeah, Neve.
Representing Great Britain today, so we've got Great Britain, U.S., Spain in this heat. This is all 3 GB members made it into this one heat.
Plus the colony. Former colony.
Exactly.
No, just kidding. But yeah, a lot of really talented paddlers here still to come. These young girls from Great Britain, from Ireland, that have this as their home feature, that have been training here, have grown up paddling here. And then Abby Holcomb out of the U.S., her family lives in a van, and they've actually spent quite a lot of time over here as well, Abby preparing for this World Championship. She competed in Spain. Well, I think the rest of these young women, this might be their first Worlds.
Yeah, we'll take a look, see if we can figure out some more information here. It is nice, though, to have your fellow country members in the eddy with you, because talk about the stoke. Their whole team, their whole junior team's right there. They can really pump each other up because they really want everyone to do well.
They're used to paddling together. They're used to training together.
This may be a competitive sport, but we have a very good camaraderie where even if your fellow athlete isn't from your country in the eddy, we root each other on. We cheer people up. We want to get them back into the eddy, back into the feature.
That's right. It's about the community. It's about the camaraderie. And I think one of the things that's been so amazing about this World Championship has just really been the weeks leading up to the event, in which athletes they start to come, they filter in, they start trying to figure out the feature, train their rides, and the way that you see everybody helping each other out, giving each other feedback, coaching each other, it's really something special.
So it looks like Izzy here won the British Championships at the end of 2021. And so she's been at the higher levels of competition, competing with her fellow Brits, but there's a lot of really good fellow Brits, so that's an achievement in and of itself. So she's going to be one we definitely want to watch out for.
You know, I think this is going to be the pink boat heat as well, if you can see upstream.
Looks like it. And one of the things the Brits have that the rest of the world does envy just a little bit, she was second at the Hurley Classic in junior. And talk about a competition.
I thought you were going to talk about fish and chips, but...
Well, they do have that. For freestyle paddlers, though, I guess we could call Hurley the fish and chips of freestyle paddling, maybe. But
it's true, yeah. Hurley, that wave near London. So Hurley Classic, wonderful event put on by Jacko, who helped organize this here. So just, Jacko just honing his skills at event hosting and does a really fabulous job of trying to make an event fun and accessible for all levels of paddlers. There's really something for everyone in this competition.
Absolutely. All of the British team has really worked hard with Den and Jacko to coach their team, make it fun, make it enjoyable, foster just such great athletes. And Hurley's one of the ones, too, where it's not just pure freestyle as we would at ICF level. They add some other dimensions to it to make it even more fun. They have multiple features. It's a very unique event that Britain claims to, and it builds just wonderful competitors.
This year there was even sup racing, so really, I think it's so wonderful. One of the things that's been positive to come out of this COVID time has been more people recognizing how much there is to love and take care of and protect about our rivers. But it is time to change our focus, because
I see Izzy charging into the stage, Eddie. She is stoked. She is not going to laze into this. She is going to take full command.
Getting the splash on the face to wake up.
Nice face splash. Here we go. Looks for the entry McNabb. Nope, just a wing over. Entry wing over. Nice retention. Now she's going to work her way back to the right and continue this run.
So let's see. She's going to set up for the McNasty off the top, bringing the boat over her head, coming around, keeping it calm as she plugs for her next trip, a loop, trying to get the air bonus on that, immediately looking to set up her next trick and working her way over for the other McNasty. We'll see what they say about that, but still retaining the feature. That is the thing. The more time you get to spend in the feature, the more points you can score. She went for that again. She didn't like it.
Yep. She has really tight boat control in this run. You can tell she is executing as minimally as possible. Very little wasted movement. It's an incredibly efficient ride. So she wants to get all these points for this McNasty right on the buzzer.
Yeah, she tried for that split wheel and thought, I'm just going to go back and make sure I could score those higher point scoring tricks. She's stoked.
That was one of the tightest, most calculated runs we've seen today, where she did not throw an extra paddle stroke. It was stroke, move, brace, stroke, move. It was a beautiful, beautiful run to behold.
That's right. So much, I think, just really remarkable talent, composure, precision coming out of these young athletes. And I think you see the difference in athletes that have worked with coaches that have been able to get feedback on their rides, get feedback on their performance, on their ride plans. A lot of people are not only thinking, it's not like athletes drop into this feature not knowing what they want to do.
Well, and what's interesting too, Jacko, chief among them, but Den close second is...
Yeah, that's Den Newton of Sweetwater Coaching.
that is the coach of our paddler coming up here. So he is a British citizen, but he is coaching an American here.
Yeah, you know, Dennis runs this ASP, Athlete Support Program, coaching athletes all over the world. I think he has over 50 athletes competing at this World Championship.
It is great international cooperation. And here comes Abby Holcomb from a van down by the river, but originally of Colorado, where I call home. So she's just going to come in, maybe just do a drop.
I think she's going to...
Not going to do anything terribly exciting, but she's on the feature, now working right into the McNasty. So let's see what she had.
Abby paddling strong here in this Jackson Rockstar 5, the new design out from Jackson Kites, looking to set up right into the other McNasty as she brings the boat over the top. Abby is someone that I think has grown about 6 inches from the last World Championship in sort, and putting a lot more power and energy into her moves. There's that beautiful front loop. You know, you learn the technique when you're little, you build the power, and you are basically unstoppable.
Yeah, her father was her primary coach going through with that huge front loop, but Abby has been dealing with a little bit of injury. So she's going to have to fight through this, as most athletes have to contend with at one point in time. There is that Space Godzilla. We'll see if she retains that, but she definitely flushed at the end there, so she's going to want to come back and get that space added to her score if that's possible.
So still, you see Abby starting her ride off with those higher scoring tricks, right? So using that side surf setup to get those tricks in. I see Claire O'Hara there, a multiple world champion in squirt boat and K1 women's, helping Abby out. Also, I believe Abby said being her world's guru this week as she helps her manage the stress of competition and trying to figure out what do we do, how do we adapt and adjust, where do we go from ride to ride.
And again, that's just a great element of our sport with the international cooperation. It's not just U.S. coaching U.S. and Canada coaching Canada, especially with something like the World Class Academy, where we have paddling embedded into general academia. We have paddlers all over the world interacting with paddlers all over the world, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to see.
That's
so there's Abby looking up. She's going to be checking that score. She probably knows what she scored. They have a pretty good idea. 410 points.
Solid first ride score for Abby.
So it's pretty good. She can go and get a few more points, though we know that last space might have not have scored, so she could probably put some more down. Now we got coming up
Christina
from Spain, Christina Villadomat.
So making her way into the eddy to set up her ride. She's making sure that she's got that official thumbs up from the judges before she drops in. That's smart, you know. You want to make sure all your tricks count.
She's got this. It looked like she was 6th place in European Champs, and she's just going to come through the feature and stage below.
There we go.
This is her first Worlds, but 6th place in European Champs in 2021 is pretty awesome.
That's right.
She is from Salt, Catalonia, so Catalonian as well as Spanish.
That's right, yeah, coached by Kim Fontenay and Nuria Fontenay-Masso. Brother, sister, really talented athlete duo. Sort was the host event for the last World Championships. And so I think, you know, you see that sparking the interest in this next generation. How many of the school groups here today are going to be inspired to maybe try this sport after getting to come out here and see what it's all about?
And if she's practicing at Sort, she's practicing at a very challenging feature. So she has to bring some extra skill other than people who might practice at a pretty cush feature. There's some really nice soft features out there. Sort,
yeah, you could see that.
Challenging.
You could see that with her first loop there that I think she got air on, but she knows that she's got about 10 more seconds to get more tricks on the board, and working her way up.
3 seconds left. She knows she's got to plug this straight away for the Space Godzilla on the buzzer.
Solid effort. Solid effort.
And as most of these juniors, she's a student. You know, she's still going to school. Her favorite place, though, as I was talking, Mio.
Yes.
And talk about a beautiful feature to play on, right? Mio.
You know, I've never been, but I dream of going because it looks, another one, though, that is trickier than I think it looks.
Oh, is that so? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It is one of those ones like Hurley. We all look at it on TV and go, curse you, France, for having such an awesome event. I want to go. And you were so far away.
That's true.
So we're really excited for those paddlers who do get a paddle at these world events all over the place. Mio, Sort, Hurley Classic.
Nottingham, HPP Whitewater Center. This is, I think, arguably one of the best hull boating locations in the world.
Well, they have how many features? What, 4 or 5? Just generally 4 or 5 just quality features and then play all over the place.
Yeah, but first, we're going to see the breeding ground, I think this place is, with this next competitor, Poppy Ward, out of Great Britain.
All right.
Poppy looking to set things up. I think going to start things off with an entry move. Is she going to go for that wing over? Oh, nope, choosing just to drop into the feature, surfing her way over to the river right side. She looks to set up for that first move, most likely plugging in for that loop, maybe getting some huge hair on that.
That was beautiful. Poppy is out of what they commonly say London way.
London way. Yeah, you can see Poppy working for that next plug. You could also see how much she traveled on that loop, right? You plug in that left corner, and the wave just shoots you back to the other side.
And right there, she got a right spin, though it might not necessarily have been a spin because she really wanted to put 10 points on the board. She is moving around to get where she wants for this next plug, and she's just going to spin her way right over to the right side with 5 seconds left. What can she give us?
Maybe looking for that McNasty. And unfortunately, just not quite finding the edge that she needed.
Putting a huge loop on the board is no small feat, though, and she's going to come back. She has one more shot to put more points down, so we'll see Poppy Ward one more time.
That's right. For though both ride counts, a lot of these athletes you're seeing one big ride and one ride where they're maybe not quite getting all of the tricks that they were hoping for quite as consistently. But that score is a 140, so a decent first score and places to go up.
Excellent.
I don't know if you could see on her bib there when they did that close-up, the design. I was talking about this earlier. You've got Coke bottles, because everyone here in Nottingham says you're supposed to drink Coke after a paddle session. Arrows for Robin Hood, because in Nottingham, as well as the paddle. So designed by Rob Crow, a British paddler. But you can check it out as Neve drops into the hole, representing her home country of Great Britain.
She's going to fight over here to the right and plug for a nice, huge loop, trying to sell clean to the judges with that paddle way out of the water.
Yeah, that paddle was ages out of the water. That was awesome. Coming to set up for this next trip, looking for the McNasty with air right over the top. So graceful. It looks so easy when it's done right. There it is, going for that Space Godzilla, getting that late rotation and lots of amplitude. She is showing that she has put the time in. She knows this Twin Waves feature. She spent time training here. Going for the other Space Godzilla. I'm not sure if she got the rotation on that trick.
Well, she's had the unique position through serendipity of being able to see everyone else's ride. So she knows what she's got to do to beat everyone's score. She absolutely, on paper, knows exactly what she needs. And she came in and threw a huge loop, a huge Space Godzilla, retained the feature the entire time. She did exactly what she needs to do. Now, she may not be happy with that because you never usually do what you want, and so she's going to go back and say, I'm going to get the extra 3 things I missed out. Maybe another
exactly.
McNasty the other way.
Yeah, she didn't miss a trick, and she just kept moving so fluid, so calm, and really beautiful amplitude on her tricks. I think consistent air on every trick that she threw.
And she's coming in here as the Hurley champion. This is her first Worlds. It also says, and being from the United States, I can only presume this is what this means, NFL second overall 2019.
So the NFL is the Nottingham Freestyle League. So
I'm pretty sure it's National Football League.
No.
I mean, that's what I read there. National football. She's a strong footballer.
If you say that over here in England, they think you're talking about
exactly
what we would call soccer.
No,
NFL Nottingham Freestyle League is a series of events run by locals here. Actually, James Ibbotson has been putting them on. He is one of our commentators. You'll hear him on the live stream later this week, and also a competitor in the C1 class. And it's a great way to develop the sport, develop the youth. That's the scores for this current heat right now in the order that they go in. But next up, top of the order is going to be Izzy Warmall from Great Britain. Izzy, I believe, also competing in some of those NFL events.
I would sure they all come up for those. It sound like wonderful events.
Going for the splash to the face here as she goes to start things off with a wing over. Entry move, number 1, level 1. Going to surf over to the side, looking to set up for the McNasty, bringing the boat over top. Not missing a beat as she goes back, trying for that trick again. She didn't like the way it felt. Sometimes you cork that rotation and it comes across sideways rather than straight over the top.
And there are technical designations of where they start and where they have to finish, and they know that. And their coaches also know that, and oftentimes they'll call it out. Do that again, or good. Keep going. Beautiful.
Huge air loop. Oh, my goodness. That was awesome. Going for the other McNasty, getting a spin out of it. Still working to retain the feature, not missing a beat. Unfortunately, that is time. Wow, can we double huge that loop?
I tell you what, we're going to have to probably add a modifier at some of these points and days because they are getting bigger and bigger. Well, we will see.
That was just for the joy of it. Did you see that?
We will see the biggest loop competition coming up, so we get to see exactly how far they go. Maybe they have to set the standard off of that going forward.
That's right. She's practicing away for that biggest loop competition. And then after that ride, her eyes go immediately to the Jumbotron as she looks for that score.
And that's something that these athletes get to do. It's one of those things, sort of an unwritten rule, but you're on the feature, you're done with your ride. You know the judges are going to take some time, so why not throw a little practice in there? Why not throw that extra space at the end and say, okay,
why not have
really
fun with it, right? Because that's what we're here to do.
And show the crowd what it is, especially since now you're relaxed. What does it matter if I flush?
Here's our current leaderboard right now. That 2 rides put Izzy at the top of the leaderboard. So she took that #1 spot with 743 points. But
again, she has that precision.
Next up, though, we've got Abby Holcomb scoring 410 points on her first ride. Can she repeat it? So she's going to be looking to do that same again, if not better, because she doesn't just want to be in the top 10. She wants to be sitting at the top of that top 10. So Abby dropping in here, taking the conservative approach, no entry move, starting things off with the McNasty, trying to get the air bonus on it. Immediately going into the next McNasty, bringing it around nice and straight, probably getting the air bonus on that one as well. This is a talented young paddler, lots of freestyle time and training, trying for the clean bonus on that loop with air, maybe getting a huge. Setting it up, 20 seconds to go. What's she going to do? We've got a Space Godzilla to the right. I'm guessing we're going to go Space Godzilla the other way. And then, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw from Abby maybe a lunar orbit, maybe a back loop, something just for the fun. There it is, going for the lunar orbit.
Right on the mark. That was beautiful. And she's going to call that a good ride. It's the only lunar we've seen in this competition for the junior women. And you saw the difference between Abby and between Izzy. Abby worked just a little more to get where she wanted. Izzy got the hometown advantage, which is why you want your competition in your home place, where she's just like, nope, I can plug it right here. And that's the skill they bring to this. Abby just brought a great set of points.
Getting that high five from Coach Claire.
You can tell she's been practicing and getting a lunar orbit on the buzzer where no one else has done that. It started out the first Felix. Oh, we didn't see that. We saw a phonics monkey. Oh, we didn't see that. Now, boom, right at the end. I'll just bring a lunar orbit to the table.
Yeah, that's right. And it's fun. You see a lot of the same tricks, loop, spaces, McNasty. So 730 points on her second ride. That is what she wants to see.
Boy.
Bringing her over 1,000 combined and putting her solidly in first place or at the top of the leaderboard as we go into that semifinal round.
As we saw last night in the opening ceremonies, we had this wonderful exhibition of medieval knightery. And the phrase we're going to use right now is Abby just dropped the gauntlet.
That's right. She dropped the gauntlet has been thrown. But as we come into our last 3 paddlers of the junior women here, we've got Christina out of Spain working her way into the wave. Surfing over that surfer's right. Staying nice and calm, looking to set things up. Oh, didn't quite get the plug she wanted on that one. She's going to try and catch the eddy. That is an interesting technique, a little bit slower, but gives you that control. Going for that front loop, maybe getting air on it. What is next? Trying for that Space Godzilla to the right, unfortunately flipping over. She's still got some time to make her way back up and get that next trick in. You can see Team Spain cheering her on.
Yeah, she got a fortunate flush on that pointed at the eddy, so she can leverage this to get back in there and get 1 or 2 more moves. You can see the clock.
I heard the 10-second buzzer, so she knows this is the money moment. Going for the Felix.
On the buzzer. I say that was before the buzzer. The judges get to make that decision, but she threw the Felix right at the end. Every point counts.
It does. Every point counts, and to show that composure and to think to yourself, I've only got a few seconds left. What can I do? But as we step into our next 2 competitors here, I'm actually going to be passing my microphone over to Matt Hamilton, who is commentating with us earlier today.
I don't hear you. All righty. Well, we still got.
It's been awesome to be here. We've got 2 more paddlers to go in our junior women. We've got Poppy Ward and Neve Mackin, both from Great Britain. It is so fun to be here commentating with you, Hojo, but I'm going to pass my microphone over to Matt Hamilton to join you and finish this off and wrap up this day.
Thank you very much, Anna, and we will finish this up with Matt. All right, here we go. Poppy's going to come drop in from the top of the feature here. Our last two paddlers in this exciting junior competition. Great Britain representing the last two in this round. Here she is setting up on the right side. Oh, catches an unfortunate flush right off the bat. Oh, that is not what she wanted, so she is going to fight into this. Surfer's left eddy. Crowd is cheering her on. GB team in full force here to help their paddlers out. This is the last. She's still got 25 seconds left. She can get in here and really make something happen. Moving it all the way to the right. Nice surf across there while she sets up for her next move. I'm joined here by Matt.
Yeah, she throws a beautiful Space Godzilla to the left. I can't believe how much these ladies have stepped it up. I'm seeing some of these scores from our junior ladies, and you know what? I think a few of the men and the senior ladies are going to be a little bit scared that these girls are going to make them look bad out there as we hear the buzzer.
Yeah, unfortunately, she heard the buzzer, and it looked to her face like she thought that was time, and then her coach friend said, no, you still got time, so she couldn't quite fight back up, so that's going to be her score for this round. She's not going to be happy with that, but it is what it is, and this is going to bring up Neve Mackin, our last paddler for the juniors, our last paddler for today from Great Britain.
Right now, our final paddler, I think, of the day. I'm pretty sure this is our final paddler.
Beautiful day here. We've got some great action. Our final paddler for our day is on deck, Neve Mackin of Great Britain. These junior women have definitely been stepping up. Her past ride was one of the best I've seen out here all day. Loving that beautiful colored boat as she gets set up. Looks like she's got the thumbs up from our head judge, Paul Shep. She drops in right away. She seems to like this surfer's right shoulder, dropping in for a big Space Godzilla to the right. Setting back up. We're going to see another move here from her. She drops in looking for a big loop, probably getting the huge bonus on that one as she was nice and tall. Coming straight over, definitely getting those angles for the judges. Really selling it to them.
Yeah, backing it up with that spin around. Now she's looking for the McNasty. Maybe came down a little sideways. I bet her coach is yelling, do that again. She's probably going to set up and go for that. She still has 10 seconds. There's the buzzer. Here's the space off to the left. She's getting really close to the space loop combo. I tell you, I bet she wants that. I bet she's been practicing it. There's the McNasty right on the buzzer.
Yeah, she a little risky over on that flushy corner, and she didn't quite pull it around right at the buzzer. And that's it for our last paddler here in today's competition. A little bit of a day wrap-up. Today's action, we saw the women's squirt, men's squirt, the debut of the women's C1, or decked canoe as the ICF likes to call it. We also saw the OC1 class and junior women's class in the kayak, as you just saw. We'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to our ITOs, aka the judges, volunteers, the International Canoe Federation, athletes, coaches, commentators, and of course all of our sponsors. Make sure you tune in for all the action tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. We have the women's C1 semifinal, followed by the men's K1 prelims, our biggest class here at the World Championships. And then we're going to have our women's squirt semifinal, men's squirt semifinal at 17:40 for our last class of the day. If you want to follow along with the action, photos, everything, check out the hashtag ICF Freestyle. Also, if you're looking for results, the ICF website under events will have all the results for us. And we'll see you out here again tomorrow morning. Signing off from
the brilliant athletes, all of our sponsors of the without them, it would be impossible. Clearly, I'm going to thank ourselves as well. We've talked and talked. Sometimes it made sense, sometimes it didn't. And tomorrow, make sure you come back. We are going to see the women's C1 semi-finals, the senior men's prelims, the women's squirt semi-finals, and the men's squirt semi-finals. So if you've taken any lovely photos or videos today, make sure you stick them on social media. Tag the event's Instagram, which I think is 2022 WFRC. I think that's the event's Instagram. Tag ICF Freestyle, British Canoeing, tag everyone, tag your mum, tag Alex here, tag me at Jibbo93. And we will see you all tomorrow for some more action. Good night, goodbye, time for food.
Claro, bonito.
Hey guys, waiting to go in the hole. You've got 3 minutes. We'll let you know when you can come down. Hole is closed for another 3 minutes.